Hey, you gotta intentional walk me. Cause when I step in that batter's box, it's gonna be a problem, you know what I mean? And don't let the bases be loaded on me. Yeah. Knock it at the park, grand slam. I'm rapping on the best, goddamn. What can I say? I'm the damn man. How can you ball with no damn plan? Why you always lose? Boo hoo. The best on the team, you knew. What can I say when I'm balling like Trout, making 430 M's with no new crew? Knock it at the park, grand slam. I'm rapping on the best, goddamn. What can I say? I'm the damn man. How can you ball with no damn plan? Why you always lose? Boo hoo. The best on the team, you knew. What can I say when I'm balling like Trout, making 430 M's with no new crew? Knock it out the park, then I bat flip. Right fielder, nah, he couldn't catch it. Ball disappeared like it's magic. The other team's face so tragic. Man, I never had shit. Never spent time with no ratchets. I was in the cages like a savage. Shout out to 21, shout out to 27. I'm the realest one out. Shout out to all my brethren, that's the truth. Best believe I ain't gonna stop till I'm riding top down in the coupe. When I'm in the booth, always gotta go hard cause I ain't got shit to lose. What you gonna do when I step in the baddest box? Best believe I'ma knock that thing out 450 feet dead center. Knock it at the park, grand slam. I'm rapping on the best, goddamn. What can I say? I'm the damn man. How can you ball with no damn plan?
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Game Talk Weekly Podcast, where we talk about gaming, tech, and anything that comes to our minds. We got everybody. We got the crew. Say hello, everybody.
What's good?
Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Shit, it's gangster. You know me.
What's up, ese vato loco? No comprende inglés?
That's not English.
How's it going, everyone?
All right, we got
up?
the weekly show. How's it going, boys, ladies and gentlemen? How you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I got my Dos Equis here. I feel pretty good, comrade.
Dos Equis, stay thirsty, my friends.
Drinking Dos Equis, try to speak like a Russian.
I feel pretty. That man is amazing. You don't even know.
So what's on the, what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Well, I mean, we were kind of talking about AMD roughly.
Always down to talk about AMD.
PCIe 4.0 being canceled on their boards. It just why exactly? Did they specify why that would be?
No, and they specified that they have better boards. That's basically what I'm getting the understanding of. Like X570, X590, and 99. They did announce those two.
Was 4.0 like they didn't think about it first. They were like, hey, they got a new board out, and they're like, oh, by the way, we already pre-fitted those boards with 4.0, but we're not going to support it on those boards because we don't exactly have everything the way it needs to run it, and so we're just going to cancel it on that. Like, that's just kind of weird. You know what I mean?
The vibe I'm getting is the Intel vibe, what is technically what Intel's done with chipsets, where they've just like, well, hey, we released a new processor. We want you in our new system or into our new boards. It's just a play like that, technically. But we were talking about this earlier before we even went live that Asus, ASRock, and MSI are basically saying, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to basically keep with PCI 4.0 and basically screw AMD. You know,
but here's the thing though. Like when you are a retailer or an OEM of a product or a partner of a product, they usually give you clip notes as to why they're saying no to these things. Why aren't they sharing that with us?
I swear to God, dude, it's got to be liability.
Probably.
Like, it has to be. I can't think of another reason.
Well, they're worried about people doing really shady things with their motherboards and breaking and then having a major lawsuit because of, they promised that this would support this and do this, and then, and it won't work.
That's it has to be the case.
AMD's trying to protect their ass,
Yeah. It sucks, but thank God Asus and the rest are not giving in.
Shouldn't they have but shouldn't they have had the foresight ahead of time to know? You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of seems careless to me. It's almost like Lisa was like, "Hey, I've been making pretty damn good money lately. We're almost back on the number one spot again. Fuck it, let's just mass produce this shit, and if we add anything later down the line, we'll deal with it then." You know, that's what it kind of seems like, and that's what
Well,
Intel
because they
did for
did
years.
change the chip setup though, because that's the thing. Starting with X570, AMD is using their own chips that they make in-house for their chipsets.
Yeah.
So
Well, and two, the traces they've talked about it with between X470, B450, and we don't even know what B550 is coming out. We don't even know that yet. AMD's teased it, but they don't know. And it just,
I don't see why they would.
You know, it makes no sense to me why they just wouldn't release their entry level boards like right now and then release their other high end stuff.
Because there's already, the way I see it, there's already entry level boards. It's X470
Gotcha.
Right.
or even B450, because
But
the Tough and a couple others can handle some of the like the 3600s easy. So I don't know. I see it.
Wait, on
Is
the
if they're-
470? I thought the 470 wasn't supporting the 3600s.
Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah,
are.
dude, 470 will it'll do a 3900X.
Well, the reason they're doing this is because they want to force you into an X570 board. That's the whole reason, because X470 can do everything with an update.
But you know what, though? All they got to do is put a prerequisite on the limitations of what the first generation boards could do.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do that, all they had to do would be like, okay, so this motherboard of the 470 series can only support up to 32 gigs of RAM.
Right.
Like, that alone could have saved them a lot of fucking hassle.
Well, AMD just realized they have the market right now, so it's kind of their move to make, and they want to get.
No,
I
get
don't
it.
mind the move so much, and I'll tell you why, right? Because the X470 and B450 boards especially, I mean, even the 370s should be able to handle a lot of even the 3600, 3700, 3800.
Right.
So for anybody who really needs PCI 4, and the only people that I can imagine who need it are like high-end content creators, because the only reason to get PCI 4 now, I mean, there is no combination of cards on the market. I do not even believe.
What's up, buddy?
I do not even believe that 3 like 2080s Supers or 2080 Ti's or whatever, or 3 Vegas or 3 Navis will max out a PCI 3 bus to what it can handle.
Right.
And so nobody needs it for gaming.
Well,
so it's like,
PCI,
why put out a B450 or excuse me, a B550 board that's like $140, that where the only difference between that and an X470 or a B450 is that it supports PCI 4.0, when the only people who are going to be buying things that support 4.0 is people who need to run like 6 M2s and RAID, because they're doing a shitload of video
The only
editing.
company right now that has a PCI 4.0 NVMe drive right now currently on the market is Corsair at the moment. I believe Samsung's working on one at the moment. But we don't know, because supposedly NVMe prices are going to sky high with all these RAM prices because of what Hynix pulled.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
Fucking China. They need to get their shit together. This is how many times now we saw a memory price hike because, was it Hynix?
Yeah,
and
it was
Samsung.
It was Hynix it was the Hynix the first time. Excuse me, Hynix the first time. Then it was Samsung the second, and then
Now it's back to Hynix for NAND instead of memory. But it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, they got sued really badly just recently, and
there was an investigation.
Dude, Hynix got fucking taken to the cleaners recently, dude. Like, Hynix deserves that shit. That's why our RAM prices are so fucking low right now, dude.
Dude, I just saw 32 gigs of 3600 CL16, I believe. So, and it's optimized for Ryzen. It's G-Skill's Trident Z RAM, but optimized for Ryzen. $209 for 32 gigs of 3600 CL16, which is guaranteed BDI, and that's the good quality shit.
Yeah. And
like, I paid $360 for my kit of 3600 CL17 like a couple years ago, and I was damn good to get that. I was damn lucky to get that price too, because like 3 weeks later it was at like $400 and something.
Guys in the stream, let us know how the volume is. Let me know.
So yeah, that shit was nasty.
Well, now you can get RAM for like $60 starting at like 3,000 megahertz. That's a pretty hell of a deal in America right now.
What about you, Paragon? What do you think about the CPUs and shit that are coming out of AMD? Like, I know you're like kind of like me. We've always kind of hung out with Intel. Like, we've always been this way. So
Like, I've been kind of out of the loop lately when it comes to brand new hardware coming from both sides. With AMD, finally, like I never thought I would see the day AMD, takes over the market. I think a long time ago, before even Ryzen, I was trying to get my hands on an AMD CPU because a friend of mine told me once they were actually good at the time or something like that. They did some things better than Intel. Intel, for the most part, does things better than AMD. Then all of a sudden, AMD has it all. Like,
how's the
I think
prices in
probably,
your country though? How's the prices holding? With all this stuff?
honestly, it is kind of around the same price as what you guys have in the US, but I think for the most part, it is around the same price as you guys, but I think it is kind of more expensive, just to import that stuff.
I agree with you there. Well, for you, what would you go if you were going to go AMD right now? If you were going to go build a new system today, what would you go?
At the moment, I'm running a 6700K Skylake.
No, I'm saying like, if you were going to buy something right now out of the AMD camp, what would you go?
They just released the 3000 series.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes, they
Yep.
did.
They got Ryzen 3, 5, and 7. Probably for what I'm gonna probably use it for, since I'm not streaming or rendering videos much as I used to, I'm probably gonna go with the Ryzen 5. But if I want to go with streaming and creating content, I would go with the Ryzen 7. So I guess
3700X,
go with that.
can't go wrong.
well, you were streaming just this past year. I remember like coming into your Twitch to say hi to you. Like, you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was trying to be consistent, but that's my biggest problem. I am never consistent since I'm always busy in the real, I'm a college student. I can't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're a college student. You're trying to get your future in line. So I mean, you can't really help it.
Right. AMD right now has got the market. The thing is with me is they keep doing these little tick for tat things, like taking things away for no reason. After they advertised it, made fans go, "Oh my god, we could buy these new CPUs and be all right," and then they take away certain features people like, and forcing them to upgrade. But Intel's been doing that for years, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Intel, like, after they discovered all these new fucking viruses and worms that are with the CPUs, like, they discovered that, and this was before we knew about it. They noticed that with these bugs, like, their CPUs were only gaining 40% of what they originally wanted them to do. So, like, we lost over half our performance due to some fucking bullshit out of some, like, nerd in his fucking mom's basement. You know what I mean? It's fucking dumb, dude. And they didn't tell us about it until, like, 10 years later, which was really fucking annoying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it wasn't that the security holes were found, because that shit happens. But they knew about it fucking, because how many generations do the main ones? Because I know they found a bunch
All
more.
the way back to the 920 when I first bought the first gen.
Yeah, man. It's like, it's 12 years of chips, and it's like, dude, you guys you had to have known about that shit. Even if you didn't discover it way back in the day, fine. 4 years later, you must have known about it. Come on.
Well,
like my 4770K, they said that, like, if this shit hits me, I will lose, like, damn near 35% of my performance.
But
bro,
give
what the
give
fuck?
AMD credit on that too, though. They really haven't been hit by Spectre and whatnot. at
No,
all.
because see, and this is why people say that it's bad to have brand loyalty, right? And I'm like, no. it's okay to have brand loyalty if a brand has earned your loyalty. And for me, AMD has always earned my loyalty because when Intel had the high ground, they chose to do shit like this and to just keep releasing, you know, a 10% better chip every year. They didn't try to innovate. They didn't try. AMD, on the other hand, dude, they've been trying to innovate. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. The pile driver wasn't that great, but it worked well enough. And
But
I'm
you know
okay
what,
with a
though?
little bit less performance if it
Like-
keeps a company going that keeps trying to do better, you know?
With Pile Driver, though, like, it wasn't as good as what they promised, but it wasn't nearly as bad as what other people made it out to.
No, dude, it really wasn't. Bro, I'm telling you, my pile driver, 8320, dude. I paid $120 for this fucking chip. And I had a gaming 970 board at the end. I had a cheap board in the beginning, but at the end I had a gaming 970 with a 290X. And bro, I was able to do 140 frames a second constant. It didn't go down below 132 in Overwatch with everything at max. I'm streaming fucking 720p 60 to Twitch. I'm watching a fucking movie on my second screen for my girlfriend. I'm fucking, you know, doing all this other shit in the background, and it fucking handled that shit. No fucking problem. No frame drops, no nothing. On a goddamn $120 chip.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't do that with an Intel. Are you fucking, you'd need a fucking $500, you know, 6700, 7700K or whatever was the new thing out at the time to do that kind of shit.
Well, the
Well,
8350 wasn't too bad either. I mean, that
No,
was
they
that was
were
a
they were
darling
good
CPU.
chips.
So
Yeah.
the 4770K launched right around they did the price cuts to the 8350 Black Edition.
Well, Brimstone, real quick on
what's
that
up?
on that note, you know, we're not talking about how many times Intel released a CPU and it was just a heat wagon, and it's been consistently cheap stuff in between the die. And that we're not talking about that either. That was the one thing that what's happening with Intel. And then now with Intel coming out, on a quick note, they're coming out with 10 nanometer process, Ice Lake chips, and they're throwing so much wattage at it. It reminds me so much of AMD at one point with the pile driver and bulldozer series. It so reminds me what AMD did to try to beat their competition.
But so here's the thing though, like I almost bought an 8350 Black Edition before I got my 4770K. If it wasn't for Jamie hooking me up with his fucking Intel Zone discount, because I got that shit for like 50% off at launch. Like I had a hell of a deal on it, so I only paid like $150 for it or $160 or so. I don't even remember now, but it was a while ago. And the 8350 was priced similarly at regular price. So I almost picked one up. The only problem with it is it required a liquid cooler.
Right.
And it was only physical core, so therefore it didn't do a whole lot as far as what I was looking for in a chipset. So that's one of the reasons why I stuck it out with my i7 series, is because the 920, believe it or not, was way ahead of its time. Like it was like the fucking king of the block for over a decade. So, I mean, I can see why people stick with Intel. And I get it. I get it. But like even for me right now, like I'm seriously like after I buy this one set from our buddy, like I might end up going AMD and I might end up going with a Ryzen setup. Or no.
Yeah,
I'm
same here.
telling you, man, my 2700X is a fucking champ.
2600 that I have is really good. Love my 2600.
And my 1700 was great too. That one's rocking in my bros machine now.
Like right now, you can get a 1700 for a really good deal. You can get a 2700 for a really good deal. And like you don't need to buy the X model. You can overclock it and you pretty much get X performance or stock X performance.
And you know what's fun? You know what's funny about that, dude? Sorry, P, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
oh, cool, man.
Dude, the 2600. When you go to like sites like Paul's Hardware or CPU Boss or any of those sites, they tell you that you cannot.
Ooh. Whoa. What just happened? Oh, my mouse didn't move. Whoa, okay.
Unavailable or you can't. So people
Sorry,
automatically
repeat
get
what
this.
you just said. My screen just like cut off. My bad.
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of these major sites lie to their consumers about not being able to overclock
Sorry,
the
stream,
base,
about that. I apologize. That was my bad.
the base
Technical.
CPU to the X version. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, dude. Like, Adored TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's put out a bunch of just great videos. If anybody hasn't seen Adored TV and you're into PC hardware, check his shit out because he's got in-depth shit. And it's funny because you get a whole bunch of people in the comments and shit, and he's even made a video on this, I think, commenting how like, oh, this guy just brings out the AMD shills and stuff, and it's like, well, the reason why, it's not because dude's an AMD fan or anything, because he's not. He takes pot shots at both AMD and Intel. But the reason why the AMD guys crowd around him so much is because he is the only one that's willing to tell the truth about AMD versus Intel or AMD versus Nvidia. Like, he will not pull punches when it comes to the nasty shit that Nvidia has done or Intel has done to AMD, trying to fucking keep their corner of the market share.
Dude, Intel like fucking actually stole from AMD on their patent and
Yeah.
won. And won!
I
Like,
know.
what? Like, they were both partners in like grade school. Like, they were best friends, and they
Yeah.
start their separate shit together. And like, Intel literally steals multi-core processing from AMD.
64-bit architecture too.
What? Like, the fuck? And,
Dude, the worst one is AMD
dude.
and Intel had a deal because Intel owned the patent on 32-bit architecture and AMD held the patent for 64-bit architecture. So they said, okay, we'll just work out a deal. You get to use 32-bit all you want. You get to use 64-bit all you want. But Intel reneged on the deal, and of course AMD would obviously win in court, but it's been 10 years since they started it, and of course the lawsuit's still going. And in the meantime, Intel keeps gaining market share and AMD keeps losing it. And even if the court case goes AMD's way, they're not going to get a settlement that's going to equal all the profits that they lost from all the business that they lost.
Well, if you want to go back that far, Intel's been fighting companies. That's why Cryex doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, since they merged with IBM and tried to fucking make it so that every computer had to run fucking Intel with, and IBM shit and Windows. And
Well,
yeah.
I remember, back in the day, I remember it was Cryex, AMD, and it was Intel. Intel would sue the shit out of Cryex because Cryex was doing very well, and they were kicking the shit out of Intel and anything Intel was doing. They partnered up with Texas Instruments, and then it went from that to IBM. IBM reneged on their deal, and then Semi Microconductors came in. I believe that's what it was back in '99. Went out and got them, purchased them, and then their CPUs just went downhill after that. And then VIA bought them after that. And then Intel sued the shit out of them, and then they just foreclosed. And then Semi Microconductors went and got bought up by AMD, and that's why we saw what we saw back then. Intel's been greedy for a while. It's
Nvidia too.
Nvidia
And it
too.
pisses me off. And here's what really pisses me off, right? I hear Rags or somebody like Rags go on and on about all of the bad shit that consoles are doing to the gaming scene, and with fair points, because there's lots of shit. I'm not, it is what it is, right? But
Right.
Yeah.
if you're gonna take pot shots at that, like, bro, you own Nvidia. You are directly contributing to a company that has been keeping AMD down with their bullshit on fucking, what was it? It was HairFX.
Hairworks, their fucking NVIDIA engine.
Tessellation.
Tessellation, yeah.
And the bullshit baked into games that was doing like times 128 tessellation for no fucking reason on water that couldn't be seen, just because it hurt AMD's cards more than fucking Nvidia. Yeah. And not only that, like I said, Adored TV, he put out a video comparing. There was a version of Fallout 4 that came out. It was a beta version, and the beta version, you couldn't run GameWorks on it because they had changed the rendering engine just a little too much. And so Adored TV he compiled a bunch of sites that had compared frame rate data.
You really want to talk about it? AMD right now as a whole, is really putting it with the consoles right now currently, like the new ones that are coming out in the future. AMD's really going to be having some good market share, really.
Oh, yeah.
About it.
But
Sony put in a
it's
lot
like-
of money into the R&D, RDA or R&D for AMD architecture. They were for it, and they put so much money into that.
But not only did he show that AMD cards get hit by GameWorks way more than Nvidia, but it's not just that. Nvidia's own older generation cards get hit by that shit way more than their new generation cards.
Right.
They're doing the same shit as Apple and purposefully what's the term for it? Planned obsolescence
Right.
to their own customers. And it's like, how can you own Nvidia, patronize that company when they're doing the exact shit that you say is so fucking horrible about consoles? Like, that's an anti-gamer move. If you're making your own last generation shit perform worse on purpose versus the new stuff just so you can boost your sales, that's not healthy for gaming.
Well,
Dude,
if you want to go that way, phone manufacturers are doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Because what they
That's
try
why
to
it's
do,
one of the reasons why I
Bro.
refuse to buy iPhones.
Hell.
What's funny about sorry for interrupting Brimstone there, but I actually give credit to OnePlus, literally for telling you how long you're gonna get supported for.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 years. They're actually coming out and being honest with you. We're gonna support you for 3 years with main software, and then after that, security updates for the next 2 years, and then the phone's discontinued.
I can respect that. Be honest about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing and that's one of the reasons why I haven't owned an Nvidia card in almost 2 decades now, because they were pulling shit even back with the 6800 GTS.
Oh, dude, even before that, bro. Before that.
They would go in behind the fucking curtains of these developers and bribe them, saying, "Hey, why don't you put our Hairworks and our gaming framework engine into your game anyway, even though you have an exclusive deal signed with AMD?" Like that right there, dude, I have not touched an NVIDIA card personally that I purchased in almost 20 years.
Well, also you got to put into that they were gimping too. What we're talking about recently, they were gimping. Well, the beginning of the year, when RTX was first actually being developed and put out there to the public, they were gimping just before they released them. The updates to the current, they got called on the floor for it, and then they brought out another update to fix that problem. Then they brought out another update after. Oh well, we did this. We're gonna gimp it again, just on purpose.
And this is why I have brand loyalty to AMD, because they don't pull this shit. And not just that, it's not even like they don't pull this shit. They do the opposite. When they create their own version of all NVIDIA's little nonsense, like Tress Effects instead of Hairworks, it's open fucking source.
They just did that with AMD Effects.
Yeah.
The new one. Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
AMD
Here's
FX?
the software. Here's the source code. Do with it what you need to, because we're not going to fucking lock that shit behind a black fucking box.
Dude,
So
they're
they
free
explained.
they're free sync just like that too. Like where Nvidia was like, "Hey, in order for you to actually enjoy G-Sync, you need to purchase monitors that have our little fucking capacitors in there that are we charge an $800 fee to these fucking OEMs for. So if you want this, you need to spend $4,000 fucking dollars on a 21:9 or whatever the fuck the aspect ratio is.
Brimstone, me and you have had this conversation. We compared it to HD DVD versus Blu-ray. We compared it. The market went FreeSync because why? It was cheap. It's affordable. It's open source. Anybody can work on it. Anybody can make a FreeSync monitor.
You can even do it with NVIDIA cards. That's how fucking good it is.
And the thing is, everybody went to the FreeSync monitor direction because you can get a 144 hertz FreeSync 2 panel for cheap. And
dude, $220, I think, 4 years ago when I got my 27-inch 1080p 144 hertz panel.
And
that's how cheap a FreeSync monitor was. The same G-Sync ones were $800.
Well, AMD, I'll say this, NVIDIA realized that, now we need to, FreeSync is in every home now, and now it's on the consoles, and everybody's got a monitor for it now. We need to
and TVs too.
And TVs.
New TVs are coming out with it, yeah.
And they just realized, G-Sync's coming to an end, so we have to forfeit that market. That's what they basically did. We have to forfeit it because nobody's buying our shit.
I hope the same thing happens with RTX, or at least AMD's shit holds up, because
Well-
that's all RTX was a gimmick
Well, the
to try and get
5700
NVIDIA
XT,
shit up.
if we're gonna go by stats, it trades blows literally with the 2080
Yeah, for half the price.
for half of the price. And that's not even including what we just got an announcement of new motherboards and a 5800 coming out to the market with their own version of ray tracing. They're not calling it ray tracing because that's an NVIDIA thing. They're calling it, I think they're going to be calling it something with AMD on it. And it's not FX. FX is actually just an enhancement on the image that you're viewing. It's not really, it's their way of making their own ray tracing without having to have the tensor cores or whatever it is.
Right, it's passive enhancements, which
Yeah.
I actually appreciate. It's like PhysX, dude. Like, except for PhysX was like far more
Well, it's like
demanding.
Sweet
But
FX
you know what I mean?
without having Sweet FX. Having to go get the
Yeah.
mod for it and whatnot. And it's open source on the GitHub, and anybody can work on it.
Either way, it's gonna be less fucking performance hit than what fucking Nvidia is offering, and that's the crazy shit when you think about it. You look at anything that they've done with the 10 series. Okay, look at the 10 series for instance.
Right.
Almost every AMD mid beats that shit
Right.
with their driver support that they have today. Now, could I say this 4 or 5 years ago? No. Obviously, the 1080 Ti has been fucking absolutely fantastic on the market. In fact, it's hailed as one of Nvidia's best fucking cards.
Since speaking about NVIDIA, right? So this was introduced by a fellow friend of ours in my server under Tech News. NVIDIA issues a warning update to fix GPU utilization with OBS and whatnot in their latest drivers. And want to talk about that a little bit? Because that was announced by NVIDIA themselves. Because what do we know when we do NVIDIA encoding? Any of us, I have an NVIDIA card for NVIDIA encoding. It bugs out OBS, bugs out anything to do with Windows, and your computer just crashes.
Damn.
And that's been a problem for a while. And AMD's also working with the OBS team to bring out a encoder update. They are finally, 12 years later, finally coming around to working on the AMD. Not just somebody from a modding community just making an encoder for making an encoder. They're finally actually, the whole AMD team is coming together to make it right. So that's happening too. So what
I'm
do you
happy
guys think
about that.
What do you guys think about all that?
I can't wait.
I think I've seen somewhere someone compare the video encoder for AMD and NVIDIA, and the AMD one did not look that crisp.
doesn't.
Maybe they're trying to fix that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they compared it
Yes,
to super
actually,
fast
they are.
quality. It's pretty much on par with super fast quality on the X264 options.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
'Cause
said
I was using QuickSync before then I moved to
oof,
NVIDIA's encoder.
oof. Yeah, QuickSync is just as worse. There's a lot of people are urging. I think it was EPIS Vox was like literally on the record on what was it during LTX I think it was, saying don't use the QuickSync because it's literally a watered down super fast.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that is that used to be the most toted thing here on YouTube.
Yep.
That was like every streaming single CPU or GPU solution was you enabled QuickSync through the BIOS. And when you saw the video quality, it was really fucking good. Like we're talking 720p, 60, and it looked really good, no artifacting. But this goes back to what we were saying, degradation over time. Dude, I have not changed my CPU in the last 10, almost 10, what, no.
Well,
I
but
take
the
that back. I'm sorry.
4770K is a really good processor though in its own right.
It is. But you know what? The 720p shit that I used to record for my YouTube channel does not look as good as it did back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like-
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that
Dude, even with
planet-
Relive, as much as I love Relive, like it's fuzzy. OBS captures way fucking quicker with the mod
Well, if we're talking
AMD encoder.
Well, if we're talking about this, why don't we talk about Twitch lately? Twitch lately, look at the footage. Look at the footage right now. Like Twitch brought, I don't know what they're doing with their stuff, but everything looks blurry to me. Like I'll look at footage and it's just like blurry as hell. And you can have like a 2 PC setup like I do for streaming, and you just go and it just looks blurry, just like everybody else's footage. If you go to a stream, it looks blurry, or the stream will just crash. And hopefully Twitch gets around to fixing it, because that's just a nuisance in itself. Who wants to watch on browsers or phone a blurry looking image if you are watching it?
Yeah, man. How are you supposed to see them Twitch dots titties
No, Jesus.
when you're looking at blurry fucking footage, man?
I don't disagree with that statement.
And you know what? We all have good hardware, and it should be that way. You know, we pay
No,
for
it
good
shouldn't.
shit.
That's the most irritating part.
I think
you know.
who was it talking about that? I think it was Linus talking about it. How he was saying like Twitch, like literally their quality's degraded in the last year, like literally with transcoding. Meanwhile, you can go to like Mixer, you can go to D Live, you can go to any of these places, and their 720p looks crystal clean, which is sad. And the viewer base on Twitch is bigger.
Right? It's not like they're hurting for money.
You're talking about a group of people, and I'm not putting them down, okay? I'm just saying, you're talking about a group of people that will follow a console streamer that is streaming in like 480p, 30 frames a second, and he will have anywhere from 4 to, I don't know, sometimes even 600 fucking viewers. Like, and everybody's like, oh, it's you know, it's a personality, and I'm sure that's part of it, right? But like,
Right.
I have a feeling that it's more about platform loyalty. Like, I think they're just so big into Twitch, and there's some content that just, you know, it's stale now. You know, I think there's just more to it.
Well, Epis
Like,
Box,
I think you're right.
Well, Epis Box brought up the fact of, do we really need to do 60 when we're playing consoles, when we're streaming? Do we really need to do 60? And I agree with them with a lot of that. Our webcams only do 30. You know, nothing, you know, really the average viewer is on the phone, and the phone is really not, you're not really going to see 30 FPS, you know what I mean? You know, you're not going to notice the difference on a phone, because the phone just literally does not, you know, put the image right onto.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I really like streaming, like Overwatch especially, or like Warframe or anything like that, dude. Man, 60 just looks so much fucking cleaner.
It does.
It does.
It really does. Yeah.
And they need to get off, like, they need to do something, because you got to divide the mobile and people watching on browser.
Well,
'cause-
Facebook is trying to do that as far as streaming. They're trying,
Yeah.
and it's just falling flat because they're trying to do.
I mean, you don't have to divide it. It's really not. It's all, you could do it in the encoder. It's really easy. It's like if you're logging in on a phone or something, it's, you know, it trips one setting, and if you're logging in on a browser, it trips another. It's not that hard.
Well, I'll give it
Like,
to
You
Mixer
could
on
do
that
it. They
note.
could do it.
I give that to Mixer because Mixer, you can go FTL or you can go standard on phones,
Yeah.
tablets, and whatnot, and the signal does not degrade badly.
Yeah, and that's funny you should say that, because on Twitch, when you put your shit to adaptive, the default setting for adaptive, and it never used to be this way. It didn't start doing this until like in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years, is 480p.
Well, now
Okay.
with their
Default.
with their faster than light, what they're trying to do with the low latency, which is pretty much faster than light, RTMP, faster than light, which Restream.io introduced, and they're just taking it and running with it. It's been trash since. Like, ever since they put it in place, I have more issues on any web browser trying to log in to view somebody's stream. It'll just crash and say error. And it's like, if you turn it off, it's still garbage. And that shouldn't be. If you go to Mixer, they got it down packed. You could turn it off, and it still works perfect. Same with YouTube in a way. YouTube in a way does it too, where it just works. And there's no issues there, you know?
And the funny thing is, if they concentrated on lower resolutions and higher frame rates, it's actually way better for them, because like I think to go from 720 30 to 720 60, it's only like a 15% increase in bandwidth.
Right.
But to go from 720 30 to 1080 30, it's almost double, I think, because extra frames doesn't necessarily, like, because of the way variable rate encoding works, there's a lot less changes to the frames, but going from 30 frames to 60 frames. So the actual bit rate doesn't vary that much. Like I said, it's like 15 or 20%, something like that. It's not a whole lot. But with higher resolution, that's it's a direct ratio increase to the amount of, so like 1080 to 4K, that's a 4 times, it's like 4 times, right?
Well, and also the misconceptions too. If we're talking about streaming, a lot of streamers don't set their settings right. Like if we're
No,
really,
that's
if we're really
I
gonna
don't even
go
have
and
them right.
talk about it, like a lot of they just go with the default, and the default's 6,000 bit rate, and it's like no, you should not be at 6,000 bit rate at all. At 1080p 60, some computers just can't even handle that at all. Pushing that amount of bandwidth, then your internet can handle it, because a lot of times, for myself, because I have Spectrum. A lot of times at 3,500, they'll just throttle the shit out of me, and I'll start dropping frames, and you'll start seeing degradation in stream real quick. Even Brimstone's having issues with somewhat, with the internet too. Like he'll just drop out of a stream and up and Discord and everything because of it, And it's
Bro, I'm starting to think that maybe my internet just hates me. Like, that's where I'm going with it, dude. Like I've pretty much given up. I just don't care anymore. I'm just trying to, like, if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I'm over
I'll tell you what, man, as much as people hate on Comcast, and I do get it, I do not have problems like that. I don't have the best speeds, but it does handle the streaming, because I can do the 720 60, and that you can get away with like 3K, which is nice, because Twitch doesn't let you go much higher than that.
Well, you can actually go 6,000 on Twitch, but the thing is, I've been telling most people 2,500 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like it just works. Don't fix what's not broke. 2,500, 60, 720p 60, or 3,000 at the max. If you're playing a fast-paced game, maybe 3,500 if you're lucky.
Because it'll make a difference, especially in a game like Overwatch or Warframe or one of those, because there's just so much fucking movement. Like when that shit's not clean, it just looks horrible.
But yeah, my thing is, for me, these platforms, if Twitch keeps acting up, man, I don't know, man. Like that's just annoying to me. It's not. I gotta have it consistent. You know what I mean? Where the blurriness, like if you're putting all this effort and time and money into putting a secondary PC together, or even one PC setup, wouldn't you want your footage to look as crystal clean as you can get on a platform?
Right.
And if it doesn't, then what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean?
Why did I get a 2700X when my streams look like shit?
Right. When Twitch is sitting there recommending, oh, you need to get this beefy CPU to do what you're trying to do, or this beefy GPU, or, if you really wanted to, you can go get another GPU, put it in your computer and use it as a coding card if you choose to, like an older card. And then when it comes out, it just looks like shit. It just falls flat.
I do like, man, Gamers Nexus got the shit reamed out of him for this video too. But when Gamers Nexus put out their video, getting that AMD for their demonstration, where they had, I think it was 4K, or no, not 4K. It couldn't have been 4K, but they were streaming. I was like 1080 60 maybe. It was something real high, and they were doing it on slow, or like slower,
Right.
with no frame drops. And then they did that versus like a 9700K or whatever it was. And, the 9700K was getting like,
that was at their
30%
E3
frame
event.
drops.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
And they reamed AMD for it. And it's like, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, no, for one thing, this actually makes a difference, because if you're a streamer and you want to get serious about it, it's like, dude, if you can pull off, if it can do 1080 60, then you should be able to fucking pull like 720 60 on the absolute slowest. And that actually makes a difference, because slowing down the encoder speed, if the CPU can handle it, really helps with high motion, because it does more work on the back end and lets you run a higher frame rate
Well, I
or
found
higher.
this out the other day by watching Gamer Nexus video with Epos Vox, because Epos Vox is pretty much the guy that's been doing talking about all the encoders. He's been pushing for the AMD encoding thing to be fixed. Like, he's been all over the forums because he's been annoyed, and he's been annoyed with the OBS or the whatever GPU utilization of why OBS lags, whatnot. And he was talking about how NVIDIA is doing different technology within their NVIDIA encoder, and he wished that all these other companies would follow suit, kind of in a way, because they're doing something when you encode tons of things going on the screen, it doesn't pixelate.
Right.
And it keeps it going. So I'll give NVIDIA their due when it comes to NVINC. They've really kind of tuned it up good. Now I want to see what AMD is going to do. Now with the team there working on the encoder, let's see what they're going to do, because actually AMD actually has the better encoder if you really think about it with H265.
They really do.
And they gotta tweak it, just slightly tweak it and refine it a little bit, get it up to snuff. I think we could have like a competition between encoders. I think that's going to be great for streamers.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna love it. Cause I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
bro, running OBS even on my old 8320, it couldn't do it at 720/60, but I think it could do it at like 720/40 or 45.
Yeah.
Turning the encoder down to slow, and it makes a big difference in a high motion game, because the real advantage of slowing down the encoder is that it in high motion scenes it runs a lot less bit rate because it loads up the CPU a lot more. And with AMD CPUs, I've got 8 cores with 16 threads. Like, it can handle it while playing the game, no problem. So, and that'll really help with like the struggling streamer, because if you're not partnered with Twitch, then you're fucking bandwidth limited. And same thing, YouTube and everybody else has bandwidth limits. So if you're trying to stream and look nice when you're not a partner,
Well,
it's like, well, what the fuck else are you gonna do?
On Twitch, you don't get the Tesla, what is it, transcoding? You don't get transcoding. That's what it is. You don't get transcoding, but you could stream like high bit rates if you choose to, but you just don't get transcoding, so it falls apart.
Exactly. Yeah. It does. It looks the same as a crappy stream.
Pretty much. And then on Facebook, they're doing that where you have to have 100 followers, which they're not making it hard. You get transcoding as you hit 100 followers, which is,
That's good.
I give Facebook their due with that. They're making it
Yeah.
easier.
That's a good number too. 100 if 100 people are watching, like, that's a fair number to start spending because that transcoding isn't cheap as far as like processing power goes.
Now, since we're talking about streaming, why don't we talk about this? I think it's $100 million, $110 million with Ninja on Mixer. But I want to say something about this.
I thought it was 500 million.
No, it's $110 million for 6 years, and he can negotiate more, an extension, like an NBA ball player or a soccer player. He can negotiate at the 6-year mark for more money and more years, as in a contract extension if he chooses to. My thing is, my feeling on this Brimstone. I've talked to you yesterday about it. They didn't add, which was disappointing to me. They put all this money into Ninja, but they didn't put any money into a affiliate program or give something to the up-and-coming streamer on Mixer. They signed him for so much money. They're giving free subs away. Don't get me wrong. Ninja attracts a crowd. I give him that. But to me, I just think that was a little bit much from Microsoft. If they have all this money, they could put more into Mixer instead. I thought they could have done more with Mixer instead of signing somebody.
Yeah.
Man, if I was Ninja, I might have just fucking gone with D-Live.
I actually never heard of that.
I don't think D-Live has that kind of money though, Pete. Like,
No, that's the
million?
thing. I know, that's the thing. But like, dude, if he switched, that'd be it. They'd have it.
Well, right now who's over on D Live is PewDiePie.
But he does everything
Markiplier.
on YouTube though.
No, he actually went exclusively to D Live for a while. So did Markiplier. Markiplier was exclusively to Mixer for a while there, and then he just bugged out and said Mixer wasn't his thing, and went over to D Live with PewDiePie. Yeah,
I think Ninja would bring it home for him, and really get him into a place where they could compete. And I really want to see that because they're going the crypto route, which that means you can't get fucking shut out by a bank or fucking PayPal or a credit card company.
But I'll say this. Mixed. Well, looking at the pie chart, it goes Twitch, YouTube, then it goes. Actually, in fact, you're gonna be shocked by this. Facebook, as the
yeah,
in
no,
the middle,
I can see it.
in the
yeah.
middle, and then it goes Mixer, then it goes everything else.
Yep.
Like literally 5% everything else. And to answer Paragon's question, DLive is another streaming platform with cryptocurrency, and you can earn Linden stuff and as you're viewing, and it's a currency that you get by watching, and you can support other stream. It goes back to other streamers technically. They're not doing what Twitch is doing with ad revenue, with the ad stuff, with biddies and shit like that, which Twitch needs to go in and fix all that garbage. Because a lot of people that want to support other people, they took it off the phone and they're making it harder and harder and harder for people to get it on through browsers. And then it's
Yeah,
really
I'm looking
ridiculous.
at it right now.
And DLive's not bad. It's just not for me. But I
It's
wouldn't.
not bad, but it's just not good either.
Well, I wouldn't mind trying it. For science. Hey, I'm not gonna say no to a.
Yo. If there's titty streamers over there, they got me. All right? I'm just throwing it out there.
Bigger the better, huh? That's why
They
there's
just all need-
Yes and no.
Plexstorm. There's why there's Plexstorm out there for you, bud.
They just
Bro,
all need to move to
I'm not sure if
Pornhub.
this
Pornhub.
bro,
Stream your
like
tits on
Flexstorm
Pornhub.
is
Start a
literally
Pornhub
like,
stream team.
Pornhub stream team,
Dude, Pornhub Gamer.
Oh,
Pornhub Gaming. It'll work.
You know how many
It'll be
people
all
go over
fucking
there?
tit streamers. I'll be alright with that.
Do you know how many porn stars that played video games? Jesus Christ.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm good. There's Anna Cherry already does that, naked streaming.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look at this guy all
boy.
blushing over here, man.
Who's blushing? I'm down for anything. Let's do it. What was that,
He's cute,
Paragon?
too.
A circle jerk to watch porn with friends? All right, let's do it, dude. I'm not
Or you
gay,
could
but
do an elephant walk.
I could do that too.
Or
I'm
the
good with that.
tripod, like Mini-Me. There you go.
Do you know what
I
the
don't even
elephant
know
walk
what
Pirate,
is?
yo.
I actually do know what the elephant walk is. I don't know the tripod.
You gotta watch Austin Powers, man.
I did.
No, isn't that in the second one?
The second one, yep.
Yeah.
It's the scene in the second one where he's in the spacesuit and shit.
It's a good movie.
They need to make
Man, I
another
haven't
one of
seen
those.
that shit in forever.
Well, I know next year we're getting Rush Hour 4 and Bad Boys 3.
I don't know, man. I've not been impressed with the reboots they've done lately, so I'm not holding
It's
my
not a
breath on any
reboot.
of those.
not
Well,
a reboot.
whatever. The
At least
the
it's not Michael, at least it's
revitalization
not
of
Michael
old
Bay.
series.
At least it's
Yeah,
not
right.
Michael Bay directing it with some fake shitty CGI like Transformers.
Jackie Chan's cool though, and hopefully Chris Rock's not a douchebag.
Man,
So
if
I
you've
think
seen
they
Chris
can pull
Tucker
it off.
lately, man, he is
Or Chris
like
Tucker,
a
yeah.
shell of himself. Like he says,
I know, right?
I gotta go and get into shape for Rush Hour 4.
Well, he's just man. He does not like the comedy scene anymore. I don't think.
He looks like Tracy Morgan now, and I'm like, what happened to you, buddy? Like you used to
Bro,
be
the
like,
college scene, dude. I think he took it hard, because Seinfeld just quit, right? He just said, "Fuck this, I ain't doing it no more" at colleges and stuff because everybody was getting too offended.
well,
but,
what
like,
happened
Chris-
was with
Chris
Tucker,
Rock was doing, or Chris Tucker, excuse me, Chris Tucker was doing like he was pretty big into colleges, I think, and fucking he just said, "Man, fuck this." But I think it hit him hard.
Well, Chris Tucker got in trouble with the IRS at one point, like Wesley Snipe deal, but it was 10 times worse.
Oof.
Like he didn't pay taxes for like 10, 15 years or something like that, starting when he did Rush Hour 1.
Oof.
And I guess he just went downhill from there,
Man,
trying to make a revised career or comeback of his career. But I know filming for Bad Boys finished, so I'm hoping, that movie's going to be good.
I love the first and the second. I think I like the second one better than the first.
Yeah, same here.
Jumanji 2 finished up too. I can't wait to see that shit.
Oh,
I didn't
The
see the
Rock.
first one.
Hobbs and Shaw came out just recently.
Oh, dude, that movie can suck a left nut. Have you guys
Oh
seen
my
the
God.
trailers for that shit?
I
It
hate the
looks
Fast and
fucking
Furious
ridiculous.
movies.
It looks
though.
worse than a Michael Bay movie, bruh. And I'm just watching this like, dude, you fuckers could have done this without ruining the Fast and Furious name. It's bad enough. Like, dude, that shit should have ended. 5 would have been a good ending for me, but I could have
Yeah.
even done it with like 6. But I didn't even watch the one where
Hey,
they're
they're
fucking
doing Fast
dude
9 with John Cena, so there you go.
I know, bro. This shit needs
I'll
to
be the first one
end,
in line
dude.
not to watch that. By the way.
And here's the crazy shit, right? They had a series, right, that just started stupid shit about car racing, and they actually brought it to a decent conclusion with the whole like family thing and 5 and 6 and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like now you're just gonna keep going, like guys, come on,
And then
come on.
they're supposedly going back into the universe of it and bringing us what happened after Tokyo Drift. And
Oh
I'm just
god,
I'm like, stop.
just don't do it.
This is not the MCU stuff.
Well, that's even crazy too. Like there in the Marvel universe, Jesus, like there's so much shit going on with that universe in itself. Like
I don't know if I'm happy with it either, because I don't. It's not like the
hey,
new
I'll
Spider-Man
I'll
movies
put it
are
this
bad.
way to you. Disney owns the shit out of Fox, and we're gonna watch it with wrestling, SmackDown with all this CGI shit, and then we're gonna watch it with Star Wars because guess what they just did recently? It's not a lightsaber anymore. It's a light sword. And when you get hit with the light sword, you get to go to an incubation chamber and survive. And I'm like, when I was a kid in the 90s, okay, when you got hit with a lightsaber, you got chewed in half. How does that make any sense? And then my favorite franchise, my ultimate favorite franchise, Aliens, they just rewrote the script for the next one.
Oh man.
Because Disney didn't like the violence that's going to happen in the next one.
Don't mess it up.
Oh, it's fucked.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it got fucking dude. It's already fucked, bro. We're fucked.
And I didn't even
and
mind Prometheus. Like I was okay with Prometheus. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but it's like okay,
I actually
fine.
own that on Blu-ray.
I can deal with it, dude. I like the movie, but like, dude, you see, this is what I'm talking. This is why I'm not holding my breath
The
for
next three
fucking.
movies, they already got them all scripted out. Was it Ridley Scott does for the next three, and it's gonna lead up to that distress call that we got in Aliens 1. And I'm like, there's got to be so much violence in these movies, and I'm like, you're making them go rewrite the script because it's violent. And then I heard that I was reading Disney wants to tone down Deadpool.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
I knew it.
Hey, have you guys
As
heard? Have you
soon
guys
as I
heard
heard it.
about?
go for it.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Have you guys heard about that new Star Wars game? They told Respawn not to have any decapitations in it.
Oh yeah, Disney did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
I knew it, dude. As soon as I heard Disney was buying like the MCU and fucking all that shit, I was like, dude, Deadpool will never fucking be the same. Thank God Logan happened before that shit, because that never would have happened.
Well, it was all it was Fox owned all the rights. Marvel just put their name behind it.
Right.
And then it was like Fox made all the shots, and Fox is all about dark shit and rated R. And then when Disney bought them out, I'm just like, oh yeah, everything that I came to love with those franchises is now dead and over. I might as just shed a tear when these movies come, because I'm gonna.
Bro, I didn't even watch the second. I refuse to watch the second Star Wars. I will not even pirate it. I don't even want them to think that they might have lost a sale from me. So I refuse to even pirate that shit. It was on Netflix. I wouldn't even watch that shit. Dude, you can ask my girlfriend. We saw the first one in theaters because I wasn't hyped, but like I love Star Wars. I even like the prequels. But so I was like, all right, cool, new Star Wars movies, bring it on. And we're walking out of the theater after it ended. I'm like, dude, that's it. This shit is over.
When Disney did their thing with Star Wars, like the first one with Finn, how does Finn become a fucking Jedi right off the rip and know a lightsaber right off the freaking rip? Like,
I don't think he is a Jedi.
Like he picked up a lightsaber and he's like immediately like a Jedi. I'm like, what? How does that work? And then instant minute he like starts fighting, and I'm like sitting here in the theater. I'm like, how does this work? So if I pick up a lightsaber, I just become this instant ultimate master with a sword.
Well, what's her face was like that though, like the chick Rain or what?
Bro,
Ren,
she's magical at anything she does.
Yeah, she gets
Millennium Falcon, never flown in her life. No problem. Who is this we're talking about?
But didn't they start her off as an engineer / machinist though? That's the thing.
She was supposed to be like Luke Skywalker technically. That's how when in the book she's portrayed as the Luke Skywalker 2.0 kind of deal, where she has the same story as Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker is supposed to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi for her. And the way Disney portrays this falls flat. And it's like everything they executed, I've read the books, and I'm just like, this shit is garbage.
Well, yeah, they don't set it up.
No.
Like Luke's transformation, not okay. So like in the piloting case, Luke talks about all his piloting experience. He has friends that talk about his piloting experience. Like there's lore in the movies, not in some book or comic book that I have to read. But in the movies, there's lore that explains why Luke is. I mean, he's not an amazing pilot or anything, but he's good enough to hang with them
Well,
and
also
shit like
too,
that. And then he gains ability with the lightsaber as the. It's not like he's good at everything as soon as he starts up.
and two,
It's
we're
like
not gonna
he
talk
doesn't even
about
use
that.
the lightsaber till the second one, and he sucks with it.
Well, we're not gonna talk
So-
about that, right? Let's see, like the Solo movie, right? When you read the books for Solo, right, to lead into the main Star Wars, universe, to me it falls flat because Kylo Ren. I get it, he's son, but how? What drove him? There needs to be somewhat of a storytelling. In the books they tell you, but they don't tell you in the movies. They just
And the
tell
movies could have
you
been
they
so
just tell
good,
you
too.
just became a Sith. And it's like, okay, why? In the first 3 movies of Star Wars and even the older ones, they give you an origin story, beginning, middle, and end to everything. Because George Lucas wrote it, and good writers and whatnot, and the times were different. And now, incubation chambers and, and I'm just like, you can survive, but back in the day, you got chopped in half. That just makes no sense. And they're going to do that with Blade. They're going to do that with Blade too, so there you go.
I also
Wait,
heard that
what?
they're trying to make a Knights of the Old Republic movie, but how is that gonna work? It's Disney. Like, are they gonna mess up the story?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even know what's canon anymore. Haven't they like changed their mind on what's canon like 6 times now?
Well, the Old Republic or the Jedi Knights, those games are way before anything with Luke Skywalker and anything like that. Way before. Like it's
Yeah, those stories are actually interesting. That's like the only part of Star Wars that interests me.
Like that leads you into 1, 2, 3, literally. Like those are like what Prometheus is for aliens. What led up to the the Sith and the Jedis, and what good versus evil is in that franchise, in the universe. Because if you read those books, they're amazing. And the games were great back in the day, and they ran great.
Bruh, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Dude.
Bruh.
It disappoints me is all these favorite franchises that I love are just getting like nuked real badly. And then what's the other one? 007 getting fucking nuked too.
Oh, dude.
And I'm like,
It's got to be a
I'm
black
sad.
woman.
I'm sad.
Dude, I haven't enjoyed a 007 movie since like literally GoldenEye.
I don't know, man. I love Pierce Brosnan, and I love his Bond movies, and I do think that Pierce Brosnan is the quintessential Bond. I think he's even better than Sean Connery.
Yeah.
However,
I don't know about that.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, he was so much better at like delivering those one-liner quips and looking like fucking cool as shit while he was doing his fucking, killing people's thing.
But that's the thing. He has to like act cool. Like Sean Connery, like you knew what you were getting at the jump.
I don't know, but that's a discussion for another day. I actually liked.
We're hitting the hour and 3-minute mark, just letting you guys know.
I actually liked the who's the new guy? Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig is not
I
too
actually
bad.
he's not, and I like how they took it like more in a gritty direction. Like what was the first one? Casino Royale. Casino Royale is just fucking awesome.
I thought they were
I
going to
love that
do
movie.
I thought they were going to pick the guy that's the bad guy in Hobbs and Shaw. I really believe that, and I was like,
Idris Elba.
yeah, I can get down with that.
Yeah, I could have been down with that.
And also their second choice, what's his name from Taken?
Liam
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. I could have. I was fine
fucking
with their
Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon, yo.
Yeah, right. I was cool with their 2 choices, and then they just went, "Oh, we got to go this way with the the way everybody's going in the world. We need to go over here and please a demographic." And I'm like, "Oh, great, okay." Those movies are going downhill real quick.
Yeah, another franchise I have no interest in anymore.
And then what was it? We got what is it on TV? TV shows wise.
Witcher.
The Witcher.
That shitstorm.
Yeah, that shit's.
Here's the thing. Like in the books, they didn't really specify like
Are they going off the books?
what their nation.
I haven't watched this series because I don't have Netflix. Are they going off the books or are
Actually,
they going off the video
No,
game?
they really.
I'm reading the
they're-
books right now as we speak,
Got you.
and this is just a short story. This is like not the first book even. It's just a short story. But here's the thing. Like my only complaint is, and I have not seen the entire season to even judge it. Like I want to see like the Eastern European Slavic culture, and I'm not seeing that in that trailer. So I'm just gonna hold judgment until that comes out. But from what I've heard, the showrunner Lauren Hisrich, she mentioned that she gotten the blessing of Andrzej Sapkowski. That's the name of the writer creator. She gotten the blessing, and it's also mentioned that their nationalities were not specified or skin tone or whatever. She's going based on what they look like, and some people have every right to mention that they do not like the way these characters look. I'm more concerned on how they act.
Storytelling.
Yeah, how the story ends up. Like, let's take Triss Marigold for example. Triss Marigold, everybody knows her, everybody loves her from the games. She's not like one of those main essential characters
Well,
in the
you
books.
technically don't want it to be a what is it, a Titans type deal with the DC app and whatnot. How much of a shit show that was. You don't want it to be like that if you like the franchise like that. That's what I'm understanding.
Here's the thing, like everyone has to keep in mind, like every adaptation is different. Like
Right.
even if you look at the games, they've taken some artistic liberties. Like CD Projekt Red's vision is not the same as Andrzej Sapkowski's vision.
Sure.
Completely different.
But you know what's the same? Triss has red hair.
Here's the thing. In the books, it was mentioned she had like a chestnut brown hair or red brown or whatever have you.
It's just the interpretation of who's directing it and whatnot and how people.
She's supposed to even look younger too.
Well, we can
Well,
have,
she's also supposed to be beautiful, and I'm sorry, but the actress they picked is just not that pretty.
Well, we can have this argument too about Star Trek. Take a look at what's happening with the Star Trek universe. The 2 shows that are on CBS exclusively right now on their app. I've had a chance to watch them, and I'm like, where does this fit? And where do these storylines fit? They're garbage to me. I'm a Star Trek fan as well as a Star Wars fan. They fit. But, the adaptation, like you're saying, Paragon, not everything is going to fit towards where the book is. And that's how directing or how companies
True,
work.
but here's the problem with that. And EFAP, if anybody watches that, Mahler and Rags and them.
What the hell's that?
They just had a fucking
yeah.
debate about this with Shad Diversity, who I love. He's awesome. He does the are these medieval weapons and tactics realistic from video games and movies and shit like that. But they had the Spider-Man debate about the new Spider-Man movies and how they're not very good adaptations of the established lore of Spider-Man. And the interesting part is like 3 hours in, they get into a discussion about Battlefield 5. Lo and behold, and they all start bitching that Battlefield 5 had a chick fighting in World War II with a fucking steampunk arm. And the interesting thing is they lost that debate right there because their whole argument up to that point was that
But if we're going to talk about the Spider-Man universe, if we're going to go there with that, take a look at Spider-Man 3 and 2. They weren't really adaptations of the comics in itself.
No. But the key elements were still there. And this is the point, right? With Battlefield, they all agreed that Battlefield 5 was a bad game. Not because a woman fighting in a war with a steampunk arm is a bad thing, because it's not. And then, like, Fringy even gives an example of this ridiculous game of people riding on Tyrannosaurus Rexes shooting lasers. And, of course, like, that would be fine in a game, but not a Battlefield game.
Right.
Because that's not ever been what Battlefield's about.
Well,
and that right there is the argument. It's not a bad game because of its elements. It's bad because it's a bad adaptation. It doesn't follow the same rules as the rest of the Battlefields.
Well,
and that's what you can't escape with this kind of shit.
Battlefield 1 and V are not my Battlefields. They're not mine. You know, just because I like history, and
Well, that's the thing. And here's the kicker, right? Would you have been opposed to something like what happened in 5 if they had called it Battlefield Bad Company 1942?
I feel the same way.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
Because I don't think I don't think anybody would, or at least not nearly as many people would have had a problem with it.
Well, I'm in history. I like history, so to me, if it doesn't give me a reputation of it, well, I'm tired of like the World War II type deal anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm sick of it anyway because a lot of times with these kind of games, they never really.
Well, and that was the thing. Battlefield had always had a respect for historical accuracy. It might not have been absolutely perfect.
So what do you
But
take
you
on
weren't-
this, man? Real quick, what do you take on it? Your take on it?
My take on this.
Yeah.
All right. So
Because you enjoyed Battlefield V, and I understand that.
I enjoyed both. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 and V. I loved both the games pretty equally, except I think V plays a hell of a lot better than 1 does.
I agree with you.
I agree. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So my thing is, right? Like, we talk about historical accuracies. When the fuck did they have hover tanks in fucking Battlefield?
I was waiting for that answer too to come out.
Bro, like, everybody got so hung up because everybody, like, don't get me wrong. I love Battlefield 4. That's one of my all-time
Battlefield 4 is great.
It's one of my all-time top favorite fucking Battlefields, right?
Yeah.
I don't like
But
that one.
these motherfuckers that sat there and said, "Oh my god, it's a steampunk arm." If you look closer, it is a literal Generation 1 prosthesis. There's nothing
But
steampunk about it. You don't see
Well, dude, she's grabbing a right. She's moving it without, like, she moves it.
Hipso's expression.
Oh yeah, this is fucking motion,
Bro,
right
the
here.
arm moves. Like, she grabs the rifle with it. Like, you can't do that with that kind of arm. It wouldn't, like, there'd be no point.
Show me
It's
the
just
video
silly.
that she grabs it like she's like it's a fucking hand, dude.
Dude, she's holding the rifle with it.
Look at Paragon's expression.
Okay. There
She's
you go.
literally holding, like,
That's
dude.
my argument. That's my argument. You just killed your own point. You said she grabs it with this fucking thing. No, she doesn't. She literally has
Ding,
it
ding,
tucked
ding.
under her
There's-
fucking arm with it on the trigger. Guess what? You don't need to do this to pull a trigger. You could do this to pull a fucking
Oh,
trigger.
bro.
Right,
Come
no,
on, dude.
Come
Pete.
on.
Have you ever
Pete.
Have you ever been with somebody who has a mechanical arm like that? Because I have.
What fucking
And that shit,
point
dude.
is this?
Oh my god, bro.
Dude.
No.
Oh
That
my
shit
god.
would
Oh
not
my.
work.
Pete,
That shit
Pete,
would not work,
Pete.
bro. I'm gonna load
Pete.
up that video.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
file my
load up
taxes
that
real
video.
quick.
Pete.
Oh my
Pete.
god.
If you could sit there and say that Battlefield was always about historical accuracy,
No. I said they had a healthy respect for it.
What the fuck is hover tanks and respect for historical accuracies?
Because it's not historical. 1942, Vietnam, all the ones that were based in history were all accurate to the times. Every single one of them. And then Battlefield 3 was modern.
Battlefield
With
3
Battlefield 4,
was modern. Battlefield
went-
4 was based on modern weaponry and attachments.
no, because they went more into the future, dude. Come on. They had all sorts of
Yes,
shit.
it was.
They had all sorts of shit in Battlefield 4 that was theoretically plausible in the near future. They had drones.
We're not
you know,
talking about theoretics.
well,
We're
yeah,
talking about facts that happened today.
but that you might as well say the same thing about 2142. Oh, well, that's not historical accurate. Well, because it wasn't based
nobody
in
plays
history.
that game because of that.
No, dude, no. Come on. The ones that were always based in they were always based about around realistic expectations for the time period they were based in. 1942 had World War II shit. Vietnam had Vietnam shit. 3 had modern shit. 2142 had future shit, and Battlefield 4 was just past modern. They were starting to, they had hover tanks or whatever the fuck. And they also had they had shit that you could possibly see within 10 to 20 years. Like, they've always been accurate to the timeline, except for, like, the bad
Bro.
companies.
Bro, look, I'm just saying this, all right? you and along with everybody else that made this argument about the prosthetic, you guys always call it steampunk. Steampunk is quite literally a fucking arm or a body part running off of what? Fucking steam.
Well, no.
Guess what that doesn't
it's more
do?
Of an, no, wait a second. It's more of an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic. It's not literally. It's an aesthetic, bro. But no, wait a second. No, I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch that video again. I'll watch it again.
For all the people,
I'm telling you, the arm moves on its own.
For all the people watching this right now, me and Pete have always disagreed on this point since the very fucking beginning of the conception of the goddamn trailer. Okay, if this was steampunk, it would fall under literally everything that describes steampunk, not just the way it moves, but the way it looks, the way it's put together, the way she handles it. Because it's not just Pete that makes this point. A lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. And it's like, the first point, even Rags had an issue with, was it was a female in the first place. Like, are you fucking
females
stupid?
were in World War II, though. You know,
not in the front line. Not in the front line.
Not in the British Army.
That's the thing.
I agree with
it's,
that one.
It's just like the black Nazis. It's like, guys, I'm sorry. This shit just ain't right. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. I don't care how realistic you try to make it. No chick would be on the front lines, let alone one with a missing arm. Dudes with missing arms were not in the front lines.
But in the trailer, she was not on the front lines.
She's fighting in combat, bro. That's the front line.
Oh my god, guess what? You're in a war. You're gonna fight in combat. What a fucking thought there, bro.
Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Dudes would not go back to combat with a missing arm, bro. How do you work that?
Wait, hold on. Did you just say dudes never went back to combat with missing body parts?
Not after they got a prosthetic.
Are you fucking high?
Are you?
Yes, they did.
Show me one picture. One picture.
Oh, boy.
One picture where a guy is in combat with a prosthetic arm. One. Oh,
no.
Go ahead.
No. You said guys never go back to fucking combat with a missing limb. That is exactly what you said.
Yeah,
a missing limb with
a limb. No. Oh, come on. A missing limb with a prosthetic, bro. I'm not saying like a dude loses his arm in combat and keeps fighting even though he missed it. Fine. Shit like that happens.
I'm talking about a prosthetic.
But if you got a prosthetic, that means you went to the hospital, bro. You went to a hospital and got a prosthetic made. You do not return to combat after that. Ever. Period. End of sentence. Every once in a while, a dude with a leg missing will go back to combat.
Yeah, let's just
not
forgo,
an arm.
Let's just fucking forgo the differences between the American Army versus everything that was in the UK, including the Norwegian forces. Let's just forego all of the female fucking troops that were also a part of a sniper squad and medic vac. Let's just all forgo that.
I'm not saying they did. Oh, dude.
You are. That is the thing. You are saying.
No, I'm not. This is supposed to be some elite commando shit. She's swinging around a bat and killing dudes left and right. No. I'm sorry. That shit just doesn't work out. It doesn't wash. I would be just as pissed if it was a dude with that arm doing the same shit. I'd be just as pissed.
I'm not saying.
He would not fucking be there.
I am not saying that. I am not saying you are against the idea of a female doing this. I'm not. That's not the argument here. The argument here is that prosthesis didn't exist in World War II, when in fact they fucking did. People are just blind to history. People don't know how to look this shit up. There's documentation about it.
Like I said, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that video again. I'm gonna find a spot where she moves that arm on.
Let me know if you see that little metal.
I will.
Let me see if it does this. All right. If it does this, then I'll just be like, okay, whatever, Pete, you win.
Are we putting some money on the line on this?
No, I ain't got no money, so that.
Yeah, I'm broke as fuck.
We're putting
joke.
We'll put 2700X on. I'm just kidding.
Are we gonna debate for fucking CPU blocks and fucking motherboards and shit?
Go.
We're like, let's debate for Newegg accounts.
Oh, Jesus.
A 32 stacker RAM, bruh. That's what's on the
32.
table, dog. Put your money where your mouth is.
I'll fight you
guys
for
done?
beer. There you go.
Fuck.
You guys done?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's talk about that new Call of Duty real quick. Me and Brimstone have been high up on it. I'm actually really
I've
liking
been
what I'm
keeping
seeing.
myself. I've been keeping myself out of the loop, kind of purposefully. I kind of want to see what happens when it drops, and then I'll make my decision because I can't afford to buy every new game that comes out. So
So
cigarettes cost too much. That's all I'm saying.
what do you think of it, Brimstone? You had more of an opinion than me.
All right. So new Call of Duty. I've been watching quite a few streamers here on YouTube, and it's like I've stated already. It is literally the best parts of Insurgency, Rainbow Six, and Call of Duty all put together. That is a fantastic combination. I wish they would have done this years ago.
I'll say this. I agree with you. I'll further it. So it's like those games with a mix of Iron Sight, like the best of like they just looked at their knockoff competition. And they were like, well, we're gonna take some things that were great about them, like that instant coming in and you pick your gun, kind of deal, Brimstone, like we saw in the footage. That instant picking up guns was great. And then my thing is how sweet the crossplay is. But like they were showing off between PS4 and whatnot.
Yeah.
And all
Sorry,
that.
Pete. That's the evolution of the prosthetic, from World War I to World War II to modern days. Anyways.
No, Jesus, here we go again. We're really doing this. We're doing this anyway. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I will say it's the crossplay part of it. It's even Steven between everything. It looked like they kind of even Stevened all of it.
The fucking crossplay is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because I'm buying this bitch on the Xbox, and we're gonna fucking no life that shit together with you being on PC. That is gonna be awesome. I don't give a fuck if somebody's on the keyboard.
I'm gonna say this. Black Ops 4. I'm gonna tell you this. If it acts the same way as fucking Black Ops 4, crashing every 30 minutes on the clock, I'm gonna go get it on PS4. I'm not gonna deal. I'm not gonna sit here and wait for like 6 months for them to fix the damn shit, and then re-break it another month later with another update. Black Ops 4 is still broken on PC. Like every which way you slice it and dice it, it's still broken. It doesn't run good. You have to forge your ports. It's disgusting. It's like, why release it to PC if it was just gonna be broken anyway? I even gift this man a copy of it. I even gifted this man a copy.
He hooked me up with a Black Ops 4 PC edition, and we played it like total, like off and on, maybe a week straight. And we had issue after issue after issue after fucking issue. I love COD. Like, I've had a love-hate relationship with this fucking franchise for like almost everybody on the site for like over a decade. And the thing that's always pissed me off is the lack of support that the PC players get. Now, this Call of Duty, I know we've been saying this shit since Infinity War or Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, and this is under a different management now of Infinity War.
So,
it's a whole different telling of Modern Warfare. It's a whole.
We have been saying this. Yeah, we have been saying this for a long time that this could revive COD on PC. But in actuality, this could be that game. Not saying it will. It could be. Cross-platform is a very big deal.
Well,
I was watching this stream. I was watching this.
Sorry, Brimstone, for interrupting. Activision needs to make. Well, they're hurting right now. This has to be a really good COD. This has to be their ace in the hole this year. If it doesn't sell well, Activision's in a lot of hurt. So is Blizzard.
But we've been saying that shit since Advanced Warfare?
Well, no. What I'm saying is Activision's in a world of hurt. They have not really many games coming out this year at all. Literally nothing. This is their ace technically this year. Their gold standard of game right now coming out this year. And a lot of their executives and CEOs have walked away. The original CEO The last remaining original for 2 decades walked out of Blizzard after the whole Bungie thing happened. So they're hurting for money. Their sales are down. Everything is down. So this has to be the best COD that they have. It has to be the best COD they have to make. You know what I mean? To survive. If they don't, it's going to look really bad for Activision.
Paragon, you still a COD guy these days, or are you more of the Battlefield and Insurgency guy still?
I am none of those three, to be honest with you. Here's the thing. My opinion on COD, I think I have Black Ops 4 on PC. I don't think I've had it crashed. I think I bought it later on. I did not buy it when it first came out. When I played the beta, it ran smooth, but for some reason, it's almost like they lowered the tick rate for it or something like that. When the final product came out, it did not feel as smooth as it was in the beta.
Well, it was 30,
for whatever reason.
It was on I think it was Blackout. It was 30 tick servers, 30 hertz servers, and they upped it to 60. It took them 6 months to do that. Then 120 hertz. People were complaining because of 144 hertz. They weren't supporting it. Then on the main game, they said it was supposed to be dedicated servers, and it wasn't. It was 30 tick rate servers that were upscaled to 60.
Yeah, that sucks. Like, because when it comes to me and Call of Duty, like every time when I load up a Call of Duty game, whether it's on my PlayStation or my PC, every time I play it, I'm like, yeah, I cannot take this game seriously with all the bullcrap that it comes with, the balancing issues and the technical issues that I have when it comes to, server issues and people having a certain playstyle that I cannot comfortably play against. Because, hey, like at least what I like about online shooters is that if someone has a certain playstyle that is considered unbalanced, you could at least give me something to counter it, even though it's something that I'm not comfortable using. Though I've never had I have not played a balanced Call of Duty for I don't know 9 years. Like Black Ops 1, that was the last Call of Duty that actually felt balanced for me.
I'll say this too. Black Ops 4 is so horrible when it comes on PC. And I don't understand this. People sold this game as to be the best COD, and nobody supported it after the first 4 months. Nowadays, you find the same players. That's all you're going to find. And hardcore is just a shell of itself on PC. If you go on the console side, it's all day, every day. And people left Black Ops 4 to go back to Steam versions of Call of Duty, modded versions with dedicated servers. And that's the interesting part to me. It was good at first, and then it just died, tailed off. And that's the sucky part.
This new Call of Duty, I'm like, if there was literally nothing for me at the end of the year in the fall season, I would have actually bought this game. But I honestly doubt that. I don't want to be like, oh wow, this looks good, this looks amazing. Then when it finally releases, then I realized, oh, this isn't for me. And then I played oh, I'm having technical issues, server issues, balancing issues that probably are not going to get fixed or whatever have you. Like, I don't want to be that guy and be all positive. Oh, this looks good. This is exactly what I wanted from Call of Duty. Then I end up eating my words when when I finally play it, when I get my hands on it.
Well, this one's got a 2-player versus mode, which is going to be cool. 2v2 versus mode between each other, which is going to be cool. Also, too, as well, what I find interesting as well is they're going to have story mode. Thank goodness. Finally, they're bringing that back.
They said they were going to do that beforehand.
Well, I'm hoping with this game, I'm hoping that it runs good day one on PC. I hope
that's a tall order, sir.
And I hope because I pre-ordered it, I hope day one the crossplay is not bugged and they have a good. I want to see what the system in place is. You know what I mean? How their crossplay is going to be dealt, because Rocket League does a pretty good job at it.
Yeah, but that's not a shooter though.
Yeah, I know, and I'm hoping with the crossplay of that. And
hopefully that
I've read some stuff like controller players are going to be able to opt in for to go against mouse and keyboard players, but they don't have to. Which it's got to be the way it's got to be, because there's just such an advantage with mouse and keyboard.
I
Well, from
also
what I
heard
saw
that
on the live streams, it was very even Steven. When they were when PS4 players were playing against PC, I saw a lot of
See,
even Steven.
I
Korean
just
Savage.
don't buy it because when Microsoft tried this, it didn't work out. Like they put top console players against like pretty
Bruh.
average PC players, and the
But
console
this-
players got rocked.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. There were a very big mix here. Okay, there was like all of Twitch top streamers, all of the content creators, even like 300,000 subscriber count channels that were there, and most of those guys are console players. The Twitch streamers are, for the most part, were in fact PC players. And Dr. Disrespect was getting fucking raped. Fucking
I seen that.
Shroud. Dude, Shroud was
he
getting
went 4-8.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
seen
know
that.
because
Shroud was
even-
getting raped.
even
And
on
that was
shit
by
today though,
Prestigious Key, Flanker, and fucking Korean Savage. Korean Savage went and destroyed these guys.
I seen
Like,
that.
Bro, and he is a console player. He plays on the
And
PS4
Dr. Disrespect was
religiously.
pissed off real quick. In his stream, he was angry. Like, how
He
this
was like,
person's
my
so
eyes
good.
were closed.
I don't know. We'll see because they're still bitching about people who do whatever special shit needs to be done to get Overwatch on consoles to run on mouse and keyboard. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, people bitch about it because when you are used to playing with your sensitivity so low, because like it's a standard, right? On console, let's face it, it's a standard. It's something you're used to. Unless you're somebody like a Korean Savage where you have everything cranked up to fucking insane all the time. Which, let's face it, that's not the general fucking console player. It is kind of
well,
annoying,
but that's my point
you know?
though. Like, even if this ends up working out for higher end players, which I still see is that's a tall order. Like the casuals, man. Like, ugh, I just feel so bad for them. Like, at least they'll be able to opt out, but that just means you're limiting your player base.
My main worry about all this is, are we going to get a Street Fighter V rendition again where like you can tell who's on a PS4, you can tell who's on pretty much a console playing against a PC player. I don't know if you've ever seen those matches with Evo or online players in general, Pete, but Street Fighter V, when you're playing against, and let's say you're on PC like me, and you're playing against a console, dude, it is like they lag to victory pretty much. Like
Yeah, pretty
they
much, yeah.
themselves lag to victory, and
It's
it's
not
fucking-
1-to-1.
No, it's not.
And
And
same with
yeah.
Mortal Kombat's the same way though too, in a way. When you play PS4, oh, they're not crossplay. Never mind. Take it back. They were talking about it, but they couldn't get it 1-to-1 between PC and.
And that's the thing. If you're gonna do it, you have to get that shit, because otherwise, one side or another is playing with an advantage, a big one.
Well, they
And
finally
it's-
got it. They
it's no
finally got it
fun.
on Street Fighter. They got it down like close enough to 1-to-1 as you can get it.
yeah, but PS4 players are still jumping all over the fucking screen like they're fucking
Yeah, that's true.
lag switching even when they're not. Like the percentage rates between PS4 and PC matters. And if you were to lock your PC, now I tried this before with Titanfall. Me and Titanfall used to stream together there on Twitch, and we would play Street Fighter 5 together. And the one thing I noticed when I was trying to actually handicap myself at 60 frames per second with the controller, like it still lagged like crazy. Even though I tried to make my settings as close to hers as possible, we tested it. It sucks. Like fucking Capcom has yet to fix that shit
No,
to where
they
it needs
haven't.
to be.
Capcom, fix yo shit.
You
So-
know, but I'm hoping COD's good, man. Activision needs something right now because
They have the potential. They've made great games in the past.
well, they keep screwing over the consumer.
Hey,
Like
you know.
StarCraft has been teased so many different ways, and they
Ugh.
still won't release it.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
Blizzard.
Oh,
And
and
Blizzard-
they'll release a card game, for the mobile phone called Diablo.
Well, that's just like fucking Steam, dude. Like, who the fuck asked
Right.
for Dota Artifact? Nobody asked for that fucking shitty ass game. Then they release what was it, a under Dota or what the fuck it's called? Like nobody asked for these shitty games.
Give me a Left 4 Dead 3, you know?
Give me a Half-Life 3.
Right.
Fuck,
Bro, I'm
that'd
telling
be
you,
great.
I'm telling you, bro. The reason they don't do Half-Life 3 or Left 4 Dead 3 or any of this shit is because they know that they'll never be able to live up to the hype.
They'll live up to the hype because so many people will
No,
buy it.
dude. No.
The best way for them to live up to any hype is release Team Fortress 2. And I'm not 2, but 3, and make it the best fucking game they know how to, like they did with 2.
They can make it a better
If-
Overwatch, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah, they could.
See, that's what I think they should go for. That would be a good game. Because I
Yeah,
love
I'd play
Overwatch,
it.
but Blizzard is screwing the fucking pooch on that shit.
Well, now because they're hurting, now they're talking about Overwatch 2.
Course.
Because they
That's
need,
you know for a Pete, like I know you're a fellow fucking fan. You know as well as I do that is not a Blizzard idea. That is a fucking Activision idea,
Yeah.
and it needs to
Right.
be shot into the fucking face with a shotgun.
Well, they said their top franchises: Overwatch, Call of Duty, and what was the other one? Heroes of the Storm. And they were
how is
talking
it
about
not World of Warcraft still?
World of Warcraft is actually tailed off in sales. Actually, like
I know, but it's
subscriptions.
still got to be
They're
their
coming
main
out with
money
another
maker.
expansion.
Yeah.
God, I haven't.
Shadowlands.
There's still like 5 or 10 million players, isn't there?
Yeah,
At least.
Yeah.
That's got to be more than what they're making on Overwatch and Call of Duty.
I don't know.
Like
bro.
just as like a base revenue, like just the yearly sales for a game like Call of Duty cannot match up to the yearly they get from the subscription fees from 10 million people at $15 a pop every month. Like I just cannot see that equaling out
So we are
because they don't sell
reaching-
10 million copies of Call of Duty, or like maybe, but
We're reaching
still.
the hour 40 mark. Just letting you guys know.
So,
man.
hour 40. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Any games we're playing that's exciting? Any games coming out in the future that you guys are waiting for that are exciting?
GTFO,
The Outer
whatever
Worlds.
comes out.
Outer Worlds, man, that was shocking. That was interesting. They're releasing it to the Switch. That was interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of coverage for it. You know, past couple of days, everyone's showing off what they showed off behind closed doors at E3.
You know what?
They're showing
I'm
that
not,
demo.
You know, you want to know why I'm not really like hyped for Outer Worlds anymore?
Why?
Because most of those space games are gonna fucking flop, and people are just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I played it for about 30 minutes. I was pretty much done."
It is hard to make a good space game.
Like it's
There's
really
been
hard.
so many attempts lately.
So,
Well, I don't
The-
know. I don't know. The Obsidian, I don't know about that. The Obsidian could pull it off. You know, they did a great job with Fallout New Vegas. In defense, Obsidian, knowing Obsidian, they make pretty good story games.
My only complaint is that, you know, Chris Avallone wasn't involved in this game. I love Chris Avallone's stories. Man,
Not trying to
but-
argue with you, Brimstone, on that one. Wasn't trying to.
no, not at all. Like I wasn't taking it like. I'm just saying, like, I mean, Obsidian. You're right. It has a pretty good fan following.
They have a good track record. Alpha Protocol was underrated.
You can
I haven't
sit
played that.
there. You can really sit there and look at what they've put together versus the other studios, and see the differences between the stability of the instability of the other studios versus the stability of their studios. And yeah, they still had issues, but they at least were first to try to fix the shit instead of waiting on their community to fix their shit.
Yeah.
So. Only thing is, I hated New Vegas. I thought New Vegas was shit.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan.
Really?
I love that game.
Gotta
to
say,
death.
I
everybody
love
loves
New
that game.
Vegas.
I was just
I love that game
played
to
it. I
death.
was like, I like
I'll
3
take
better.
It. That and 3 I loved the best. Out of the,
And I like
the two.
4 better too.
Then you go look
I
at
like
Fallout
4.
76
I like
and
4.
you're just like, oh.
Yeah, same here.
wow.
My
I actually
God,
enjoyed
Fallout.
76 and 4.
my
You
God,
enjoyed
Fallout.
76?
76.
A lot of Fallout fans
Ooh.
don't like 4 or
Ooh.
76. I actually enjoyed the
4,
survival
I'll
aspect.
take 4. I'll take 4 over 76 any day. 76 is
The-
what, and then they're trying to add BR to it, and I'm just like, oh wow, you're reaching.
I don't play the battle royale, but other than that, I like the adventure mode of 76.
Did you also
If
buy?
they-
Did you also buy the rum cola too? I'm just kidding with you. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I don't drink alcohol, sir.
What, did you buy the bag?
Yeah, I got the 76 helmet up there.
No, the 76 helmet, the bag that was made of a tent.
Yeah, I don't care about the bag. I just wanted to get that helmet and display it on my shelf.
You know what I wish I had back in the day was the Black Ops refrigerator. That little mini fridge that they sold with the game. I wish I would have gotten one of those.
The
just
block.
for the
I
hell of
should have.
it.
I should have. Yeah, I should have because that price was pretty cheap for a refrigerator, dude.
Yeah, I was like, I know it can only store maybe like 6 Cokes or something like that, but it was
Who
cold.
cares? That's 6 Cokes that are gonna be fucking cold for you later. So I mean,
you know. I think me and you, Brimstone, have been playing a shit ton of competitive stuff or trying to start.
Rainbow Six. I started my shit. I went from bronze to copper. I'm a little annoyed. We started on Overwatch on PS4 to get me up to 25 so I can play competitive. I ranked high gold in Paladins, and I ranked what the fuck was it? There's another game that I was playing competitive, but I can't even think of it.
Well, we went competitive for a while there on Rocket League. Me and you were getting super happy.
Rocket League, that's what I was talking about. Gold
Like-
2, you helped me get to go like gold 2 or gold
Like
3.
me
yeah.
and you were still talking about possibly doing competitive with that, going competitive again. Because me and you were glued to screens. It was like we were yelling
stayed
at
up.
screens.
Dude, I was during my work week when we started that, and I wasn't going to bed until like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and having to be up at 2 to get to work on time. I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I would go into work half tired, and everybody's like, well, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I stayed up last night.
And then I'm also I'm changing my rotation of games too. Like me and you've been talking about that rotation change of games.
Yeah, we've been sort of like off and on with COD. I've been playing a lot of COD lately. I've kind of missed it. I've sort of put COD on the background.
I brought Borderlands 2 back in my life. That happened.
You've been playing Borderlands 2 with Metro, right? And,
Lone actually, man.
oh, Lone Wolf. Okay,
Lone
Lone-
got me all
Even
back
on-
into Borderlands 2.
Bruh, even by yourself, it's a great game.
I agree.
I
with
mean, it's
that.
funner
agree.
with people, but yeah, even by yourself, it's just so fun to play.
Can't wait for Borderlands 3.
Borderlands 3 is going to be amazing. I don't care what
I
anybody
cannot
says. It is going to be a
wait.
fun
I'm
game.
debating where
yeah.
I'm getting that. I'm gonna go where my
Same.
I'm gonna go where my
Well,
friends are going.
Who cares? Who cares? Just get it on Epic.
Ugh, I can't do it.
Oh,
Wait,
man,
wait,
did
wait.
you just
Wait,
say that? Oh,
Wait,
We're gonna get some dislikes now in the comment section and paragraphs. Oh God, here we go. He just said it.
Paragon.
I didn't say
Paragon.
it this week.
What?
I didn't say it this week on the show.
Paragon.
Oh
Are
my!
you serious?
Crucify
Are you
me.
serious?
I don't give a shit where I buy the game.
No,
Just
Yes!
hey,
Yes.
No, you
Thank
gotta
you. You
understand.
join our club. You are on our side. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
here's my argument. You have a game I want,
And there's
I'll
Gangster
buy
going.
it.
Oh,
I don't
fuck
give
you
a shit.
guys, man. He's just like,
No,
oh,
see,
man.
no. That's not all, because I could outline a scenario where you'd say, fuck that, I'm not buying that game. Even if that was a game you wanted.
All right, go
No.
ahead. Do it. Do it.
Oh,
do it.
dude,
Do it.
come
Outline
on.
the scenario. I want to hear it. Come on. Say it.
Okay.
He's trying.
I'm waiting.
Oh my god. So
Come
you'd
on,
have
Pete.
to agree that all your data would be ripped and sold from your computer. They could access your
Everybody
files.
does that.
But no, they don't all do that. That's the thing.
Oh,
The-
really?
The Epic
you have a
Store
phone?
does shit that other people
you have a
do
phone?
not do.
Every
I
app
don't-
on your phone.
I realize that, but not
collects
my
your data.
not my PC.
Steam
Also
does
on your
Steam
PC.
hardware survey.
You
Steam
have
does.
Steam, Pete.
Yeah, Steam
You
hardware
have-
survey. That's once a year, and I can say no, thank you. I don't want to do
Actually,
it.
no.
But
They're actually. It's been proven. They actually go into your app data folder and they actually spy on you. Yeah, they actually do. It's been proven.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other
Yeah,
shit.
Uplay does it too. If you have a Uplay launcher or you have an Epic launcher.
The big thing is they're buying exclusives,
There it is.
and I can't do it.
The fallback
Hey,
argument.
Brimstone, you remember we've been talking about this for I don't know 20 years now.
You know what? We've been talking.
We said the console stuff was gonna move over to PC eventually,
Oh,
and-
dude, I've known
and-
that for forever.
and I said if Steam did it, nobody would have an issue with it. But if
Bullshit.
somebody
No,
else
'cause if-
did it, it would be bad.
Oh, no, see, you're wrong, because if Steam did that shit, I wouldn't buy from them anymore either.
Oh, okay. So
fair enough. Okay, you're the first person. I actually kind of, you know what? You're the first person to say that. Thank you for that. Because everybody tells me if Steam did it, it'd be all right. You're the first
No.
one. You're the first one to
Yeah,
say
no,
it's okay.
it would
and
not be okay if Steam
yeah.
did it, and Steam hasn't done it. As far as I know, the only exclusives available on Steam are first party, and that's not something I like, but it's something I will put up with because it's first party.
okay,
What the
you
fuck are
just
you gonna
saved
do?
it. You just saved yourself. Okay, you just
You
saved
redeemed.
yourself.
I agree. I agree with you on that one. Okay.
But yeah, third party exclusives on PC, like, bro, you might as well be Walmart trying to buy out an Activision game saying that Target can't sell it. Like, no, I'm not going to accept that. You know, it's
Pete,
not a healthy thing for marketplaces.
Pete, you have been the only opinion to have reason, dude.
Thank you.
Well,
every one of our
I'm a reasonable guy.
every
Yeah.
one of our friends and people that are a part of the Game Talk community are so vehemently against Epic that they cannot put together a cohesive reason as to why they cannot support Epic.
And
Let me say
and you
this.
finally did it, and I thank you for that.
And I'll tell you the other big thing too is the timed exclusives, and not even so much that they're a timed exclusive, but that they've gotten games that have launched on Steam and made promises on Steam or other platforms, only to then have to withdraw because obviously they got a deal.
I understand that. Trust
Yeah.
me.
I can't support that, and if
we
they
don't
stop
agree with that
I'd have
either.
no problem.
I don't
with it.
agree with that. I get
We-
business is business,
we-
but I don't agree with it.
Me and him have already talked about this, and we both agree that those are some shitty ass fucking moves. Definitely.
Yeah, if Epic wasn't pulling that kind of stuff, then I'd be totally fine with it.
Well,
But their
the money's gonna
interface
run
is
out.
shit. That's the thing.
The money's going to run out with that, and they're
Yeah.
not going to be able to do that very much longer. They're only doing that because they're using their Fortnite money that they made accumulated over time, because now that's dropping down. Nobody's playing that game very much nowadays. I mean,
See,
really.
I think they should have taken the Fortnite money and spent a little more on making sure their system was at least as close to, like, it didn't have to be perfectly like Steam.
And guess what?
But come on, reviews.
The saving grace here is Good Old Games 2.0.
There you go.
Hopefully.
See, GOG is my great American hope, man.
Let's make
I
gaming
love
great
GOG.
again, GOG. There
I
you
got
go.
GOG
Right?
2.0.
GOG 2020. DRM free gaming for all. I'm telling you, bro, they can win.
GOG 2.0 is amazing, by the way. I just want to say that.
I haven't tried
You know-
I tried to sign up for it and I
Par-
haven't received my
Paragon-
invite yet.
Paragon, you are the what is it, Rev? Probably about the 10th or 11th person that we've talked to in the past week that has said GOG 2 is actually really fucking good.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to say this. If you're using Steam and you're using Origin and you're using Battle.net to play games that are not on Steam, I think you don't have an argument not to use the Epic Game Store.
Boom! Thank you.
Wow. Ouch.
Not towards Pete, but towards those that are gonna watch.
Yeah,
this
I'm
and
just
be
saying.
Like,
If
Fair enough.
oh my
Like-
god!
I see millions of people play Battlefield and Overwatch and all of these games, I'm like, look, it's just an app. Sign up, register, account, boom, done. No problem. It's on your PC, same PC.
But again, those are first party games, though. That's the thing.
What Paragon is turning around and saying is the argument is they're looking at your information. They're looking at somewhat of your information. on your
First off,
PC.
not like the Epic Game Store has. And I've got a picture. I got some images about this shit because they start digging into your registry. They dig into all sorts of shit that they have no fucking business digging in.
Do you know?
Not
what
only
Google,
that-
do you know what Google Chrome does?
Oh, I know. That's why I don't have Google Chrome either. And that's why I shred everything Google off my Android phone and run custom operating systems and shit like
You
that.
do
But-
realize Android is Google, right?
No. But they have custom operating systems that aren't made by Google.
Yeah, Linux operating systems. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and they don't do the same data scrubbing or whatever, ripping, whatever you want to call it, that Google does. But anyway,
Well,
forgetting
and then
all that
Google,
shit.
after getting called out on the floor with it all, and $10 billion later, Fuchsia, isn't it? Their new operating system that they're trying to
Oh,
come out
man.
with that's supposed to axe Android.
You know what?
But
I'm
the
still
worst
gonna
part
try
about it is, though, here's the thing, right? The worst part about it is that Epic is teamed up with a Chinese company, and Chinese companies by law have to report everything to the Chinese government, which means that everything that Epic gets has to be given to the Chinese government by law, by Chinese law. So they're either going to have to break the law, which means like they could get in serious legal trouble and be banned from operating in China anymore, or they're giving all the data they're getting to the Chinese government. It's one or the other. It has to be.
You know that Tencent owns shares in Epic, right? They own shares of Riot. They own shares of Activision and Blizzard. They own shares in Ubisoft. They
But they're
own
not a
shares.
partner with those companies. They are a partner with Epic. Like
You
it's
said-
it's
But you
it's
said a partner. Like I don't think.
no, like a legal partnership. It's not the same thing. I've done some research. I can't remember all of it. I'll have to find some of the shit that I found. But like they have actual like when Epic wanted Steam is in the Chinese marketplace, but they're not established as a Chinese company, right? When Epic wanted to get into the Chinese marketplace, they chose Tencent as their foothold in the Chinese marketplace, and they made agreements and business contracts with them that go way beyond like the standard shit to where
PUBG did that. Riot did that.
sure, but they're not going through my registry or scrubbing into my hard drives.
Yes, they
Epic,
are.
no, not
Yes,
like the
are.
Epic game, not like no, dude, not like the Epic Game Store. Like I
Do
said,
you
I've
think
got
Tencent only has these people installing this on Epic? If you go into your registry files right now and look at your Epic installer, look at all the files, I guarantee you're going to find extension file numbers that match other game plans that are actually being fronted money by Tencent.
Then how come none of those games have been discovered to be monitoring shit like the Epic Game Store?
They have, and they've been called out for it.
No.
Riot lost something like fucking something in the line along the lines of almost $1 billion over this shit. So fucking
I
who
don't
else
think
has
it's
done it?
I don't think
remember.
it's quite the same. I really don't. I'd have to see somebody who had actual info on what exactly was being monitored by like, PUBG or whatever. And I don't cuz
Well, PUBG for a while there was literally causing computers literally by their registration stuff that they were putting on your PC, literally causing Windows to be corrupted at one point.
wow. And that's one of the reasons why I don't play PUBG is cuz I don't like it. I
And
don't
it's
like the
riddled with
company.
hackers too at the same time, and their company don't want to do shit about it.
So, but what I do know is that Steam doesn't look into my data like that. Even if they rip my specs or whatever for the hardware survey and all that shit.
I was gonna say they rip all your software. You know that, right?
No, because like
yes,
I said,
they do. Yes, they do.
No,
Look at the itemized listing that you get when you scan your computer by Steam. I've had every bit of software on my hard drive on that listing, including shit that I uninstalled like fucking 5 years ago. Like, it is crazy, but yes, they do it.
like I said, I've seen evidence. I tend to believe my story, but
That's fine. It's fine. I'm just letting you know it's there, bro. I'm just letting you know it's there. It's happened. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, I know. No. I have no illusions about how much of my data is being ripped. I'm just Epic has gone too far. That's my opinion.
Pete, but here's the thing, Pete. You are trying to be somewhat ideologically accurate. Like you're trying to be the way you are and consistently doing so. Where 90% of the people that me and Rev have talked to in the past
basically what you're
all
doing.
have Facebooks, they all have Twitter, they all have Android phones, iPhones, Xiaomi phones, fucking OnePlus phones. Like these people live in their own bubble. They believe that everything they're doing is okay and that Epic is literally Satan and it's only Epic that's doing these things. Like, and it's not. That's not the case at all. And that's what I've been trying to wake people up to. It's like, if you're going to hate on Epic, which is fine, don't, I understand why people hate on it. I'm not saying they're wrong. All I'm saying is they need to be consistent with their beliefs on everything they do instead of just focusing on Epic because that's the popular company to hate on right now.
Well, that's just. I think a lot of that is just down to the fact that they're the ones that got caught out doing it the worst. Like.
And that's my problem, though.
Right
like,
at the wrong time. Well, it's like.
Nobody's doing this to Steam. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's doing this to Facebook that much, even though they just underwent a huge investigation and Zuckerberg played robot perfectly. I'm just saying, like.
I do see people going. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's like people have been going after Facebook for like 10 years. So how do you judge that up against? Yeah,
and it's
people are
still
going after the Epic
most
hard.
downloaded. It is still the most downloaded,
Sure.
used app in the world.
But that doesn't mean people aren't pissed about it.
If they were pissed about it, they shouldn't fucking have it. That is my point.
Well, but that's the thing. How do you balance that? I mean, like people literally need that to keep in touch with relatives and shit. Or
why not go back to MySpace, dude? Fucking Justin Timberlake owns it. I'm just saying, like, there are alternatives out there. They just don't want to use them because their friends and family aren't using them.
Well, but that's the problem. It's these companies are getting monopolies, and they're using those monopolies to take advantage.
But is it really a monopoly when people are knowingly doing the very things they fucking hate?
Oh man,
you see what I'm saying?
Deep. No, I get exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that is the shit that I'm talking about. Like, ideologically, I get where everybody comes from, okay? But I don't understand the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy, in order for any of these things to remain substantial in the corporate eye of corporate America as a capitalist nation, they need to speak with their fucking wallets and their internet prowess know-hows. Like, they need to realize that just because Epic's the fucking, the flavor of the week we're all going to hate on, doesn't mean just because we're all hating on it that nobody else is doing it. And that's the kind of world we live in right now, and it's fucking annoying.
Well, we do it with everything. No, you think you really want to go there? We do it with everything. Nowadays,
and here's the other thing, right? I don't think any one point of the Epic fiasco was the kicker. Like, there's a whole, there's a group of people who really hate that it steals a lot of data, and there's another group of people that really hate that its feature set is super limited, and there's another group of. I think what made Epic the focus of this is just they did so much wrong all at the same time.
They rushed it out to the market.
Exactly. You rushed out I mean, this Steam had more features than this when it launched, I do believe. But even if they didn't, it was close. And it's like you had an example. It's not like you were the first to the market. You have 4 other examples to look at of what's a good platform, and you chose to do the just bare minimum to get by. And on top of that, you're ripping off a bunch of data. And on top of that, you are snaking third-party exclusives and
which I disagree with.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like it's not just one of these things. I think if it was only one of these things, and there's a couple more, but those are the big ones. But if it was one of those things, people would have just said, you know what, fuck it. I don't like it, but on balance, whatever. I like Unreal Tournament or whatever it is. But it's like, you got so many things wrong all at the same time. It's like, guys, you should know. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. You should know better.
But here's the thing, right? The Epic launcher, just because it's called the Epic launcher, doesn't mean it just came out, right? The Epic launcher's been out since the very beginning of the alpha stages of Unreal Tournament. That was like right around the early 2013, 2014.
Yeah, but it wasn't a marketplace then.
But yes, it was.
No.
Yes,
I mean,
it was.
Dude, how many games were on there?
You could buy into the alphas of all their VR games that were
Sure. No.
You can
buy. It wasn't a marketplace for non-Epic games when it first launched. Dude, I had it for forever because you could get the Unreal.
We both did. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, you could get the developer kit for Unreal there.
But Pete, my main thing is nothing has changed other than it became a marketplace for third-party companies. That is it. That's it.
Well, but
Sony,
that's the thing.
But here's the thing. Sony approved of an exclusive game using an Epic launcher on their platform. People allowed it to happen because Sony signed off on it.
Wow.
Instead of doing their own research, and if they understood that Tencent helped them, and that Tencent not only helped them, but helped, like, practically fronted all the cash of getting the original storefront started, starting with the Sony exclusive that was on PC as well, and Unreal Tournament, and the development costs that went behind that they canceled. I'm just saying, like, nothing has literally changed in the way they've done business, except it opened up into a third-party store. That's the only difference.
But that's a big difference, though.
How, dude? They've been
Because
using
if
their
all
information since then, is what I'm trying to say.
Again, like I said, it's everything at once. Because if it's all first party shit,
I love you, Pete.
Oh God, there's just like there's so many things to this discussion. It's like you can't even keep them all straight in your head, right? When you've got a launcher that's only first party stuff, like literally for the longest time, all they had on there was the Unreal Tournament or the Unreal Engine development kit, the UT beta, and Fortnite and God,
And
like
asset purchasing for the engine,
and then like
buying
one
the
other game or
engine.
something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like it was an indie game. I remember.
It's
I know
like,
what you're
okay,
talking about.
It's like, who cares? They don't have a whole bunch of features that Steam had. Yeah, but there's only 5 games on there. It's not, you know what you want. If you're going there, you know exactly what you want. You know, you don't need a review on it or a rating or any of these, you know, you don't even really need friends lists or anything because everything on there is either beta or it's literally software development. But then you want to step into the arena with somebody like Steam or GOG, and you want to come in without any of the features that really make those services, and you're gonna snake third-party exclusives. Like, dude, that's a lot to ask in one big jump. Like,
but here's the thing: during said snaking, did those developers not have a choice?
oh no, and I hate the developers too. Like,
Thank you. Thank you. I'm agreeing with you. Yes, absolutely.
that was
They
some
had
shitty
a
shit
choice.
to do on the
They
part of
didn't
the
have
Hey,
to-
I'll say
developers.
this in the
Yeah.
show. At least Gangster here, Pete's been really good about it compared to every other Epic Games person that doesn't support what they're doing more of, and I appreciate that because literally, you know, the comments we've been getting, the things, you know, the 4-paragraph essays, you know, like it's been ridiculous. It's more of a popularity contest hate more than let's get realistic and let's get down to brass tacks and, you know, we agree to disagree more moment and be mature about it than be children about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, and that shitty Dota game I was talking about is called Underlords.
Oof.
You know, and so, you know, to you guys out there, you know, you should take the Pete approach when it comes to talk about Epic Games.
Well, I'm gangster.
This
Everybody should be like me.
game looks like shit. Why does everybody like it? It's got over 47K positive reviews.
Which
Jesus.
game?
Underlords, bro.
I remember
Like-
Underlords.
Oh, I know. Dude, I don't even know how people are still playing League of Legends when Dota 2 exists. How are you going to play that game?
How are people still
that
got
playing?
just-
garbage.
Wow.
How are still people playing League of Legends when Tencent owns them? And
That's true.
literally, not only did they farm your data, but they took the assets from your favorite MOBA and created a game called Arena of Valor that is actually superior on the Switch. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
Watch the
And
hate
then-
happen. Here it
And
comes.
then they
Watch
did
a bunch
the
of
same
salty
shit.
tears come. Here it comes.
They did that same shit with PUBG and created an awesome game that was like 3 years ahead of its time. called Rings of Elysium.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just
That's a
throwing
great
that
game.
out there.
You should be playing Rings of Elysium.
Fantastic game.
Hey, I'll say
It's
this.
fucking free. How do
Go
you
look
not
at
play
the water. Go look at those nice HD textures on the water. It looks so beautiful.
Well, yeah, because in PUBG, that shit it's like almost like a Minecraft loading
You know who
screen.
I'm quoting with that one. Go look at the HD
I know.
textures.
No, what gets me
But
about
I know where you're
PUBG,
going.
right?
The water looks good though in that game though. Everything in that
This
game
is-
looks good.
This is what gets me
You
with
can actually
PUBG, right?
hit for footsteps.
I don't understand how they can have something like a house pop in, which would be not fine, but at least understandable. But to where you can walk through the building before it pops in, and then afterwards you can't. Like
Bro,
that's deep level engine architecture shit.
in the beta, all right, me and Shane were able to parachute into a house before it loaded and loot that bitch by the time everybody else landed and was ready to fight.
I don't understand how that
better
happens.
on Xbox.
Because
And-
that's just not a texture pop in, right? A texture pop in is you run into an invisible wall, and then all of a sudden a texture comes up before you and you can't see past it anymore. And it's like, okay, that is a bad thing, but at least it's an understandable bad thing because that shit can happen for all sorts of reasons. That shit could be because your GPU doesn't have enough
Hey,
RAM.
I'll say this. How in the fuck does it run better on a console than it does on a PC?
Fuck if
How
I know.
remotely possible is that? It runs so much better on an Xbox One OG than a fucking PC with like
A 1080
3000,
Ti.
yeah, 1080 Ti or a
that's the thing,
5700
it's like-
XT.
If you can go through the house before it loads in, then that means it's not just the
It's
texture
not
that's loading in.
optimized.
It's the whole fucking object itself. And it's not like an object takes up any amount of RAM. I mean, literally, an object is like 2 bytes of data. Everything about the object itself is loaded in afterwards. That's the whole point of the engine. Like it's not even load up that there is an object there because you don't run into anything. You clip right through it. I don't understand how you could design a game to where the engine works like that. And I'm pretty well versed in how engines work. Like I just don't get it, dude.
It's
How the
called
fuck can
Chinese.
that happen?
It's called Chinese hackers.
It's called
Right?
It's called unoptimized games and crap.
Like
And
you could
should
do better
uninstall
with
and not play
fucking
it.
Unity.
Well,
I've
they're-
seen better
well,
games
well,
with
if you
Unity.
want to go there, they're using an engine that's on Arc, that's on Dark and Light, that's on Atlas, used on a lot of these games that are unoptimized, that textures don't load, and they run at 30 FPS or lower because your system is crying. But meanwhile, on the console side, it runs fine. How does that make sense to me?
Bro, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about it. It doesn't
Better
even
yet,
make sense.
Better yet, how does an iPhone 5 run that shit better than a PC?
Right?
Bro,
Right? Or that one core Android phone. and you're looking at yourself going, my $2,000 PC.
They have
Jesus
sites. Me and Rev were looking at streaming sites, right? We were just fucking around with the idea of testing out new sites. And there's some pretty cool shit out there, but this one particular one is dedicated to playing the mobile version on PC with mouse and keyboard. No joke.
Right.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's funny.
I can dig it.
People are playing it on BlueStacks and whatever the other one's called more than they are on Steam.
And they're propping up their mouse and keyboard with like these like boxes and shit trying to get the best kills and looking down at their phones, and I'm just like, oh my god, what is happening?
Bro,
Well,
I
yeah,
got a
some of them are
badass
actually
setup
using
for
their
a
phone.
controller with my phone. Like I could dig mouse and keyboard. Like go for it, bro. If that's how you want a game. Like I could dig.
And this
I'm
guy,
not with
and
the
this
hate
guy,
on
and this
mobile
guy,
games.
and this guy was getting all into it, dude. When we were watching it, Brimstone, he was listening to Metallica, getting all into it, and I'm just like, Jesus, like this is like this game runs so much better, but honestly,
On a
they're-
mobile
on a
device
mobile
app
device,
than
but
it
I can
does
tell you,
on
but I can
PC.
tell you why that is because on the mobile device, it's all bots, so that answers that. There's no.
Yeah, but not if you look at that site that we were looking at, dude. Like almost like I would say 98% of those people were playing mobile.
Yeah, but on
And
the
there was a
mobile
lot of
version, on the mobile version that I was looking at, the mobile version of PUBG is all bots, from what I've been told. When you load in,
Only if you go into a lobby that has no players.
got you. Okay.
It literally runs like Unreal Tournament, where like if you go into a lobby, there's no players, you'll be placed in a bot match with the AI turned up to your current skill levels. I know some of them do that. Some of them will do it easy. Some will do normal. Some will do it on insane.
So do we want to wrap this up, Brimstone, for the week?
Yeah, let's do it. So, do we have anything coming out? Yeah, we have a new channel coming around for vaping, and gaming. So that's gonna be cool. Pete, are you gonna do anything for video work or anything? Are you gonna?
I don't want to promise anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paragon?
Like, we'll see.
Well, same with Pete. I don't want to promise anything, but I want to get back to making YouTube videos. It's actually Katriox now, but they're used to Paragon, which is fine. YouTube.com/Katriox, and maybe I'll go back to Mixer and stream. I don't know. I don't want to promise anything. I want to get back into it, but it really depends. Just keep in mind, I'm not consistent at all.
Same.
Myself, I'm revamping. You know, we all know the situation. I'm gonna leave it as that. I got a new server, Discord server. Everybody's enjoying it. We're gonna have rolling game nights. Me and Brimstone are making it a mission to do rolling game nights again. You guys are craving it. We're bringing it, and hopefully my server can bring that to all of you guys out there. You know, everybody is welcomed. We're gonna be doing a lot of rolling game nights. We got a competitive room going on in there, where we're gonna be doing competitive gaming. I've kind of changed, kind of rebranding to RevTech TV kind of deal. Take the other T out of it because it makes it shorter, sweeter to the point. And me and Brimstone are trying different streaming platforms, and we're giving everything a shot, and we're going to see where it goes. Because I've noticed with Twitch in itself as a whole that the footage, you know, it's just becoming a plaguing hard time streaming on there sometimes. Time to time, especially with Brimstone going through his issues with it, and I've noticed my footage is blurry. Like there's like motion blur going on. I don't know if it's their server or whatnot. I've noticed. So we're trying different platforms, different things, different strokes for different folks. Anyway, I'm gonna take you out with some XP music, Brimstone. Try not to laugh hard. Try not to laugh hard.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks.
Right. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right, we're going to wrap it up with some XP gaming. You guys all have a good night. Thank you again, Paragon, for stopping in. Guests are always welcomed on the show, as always. We're going to wrap you up with some XP chill. And check them out on Bandcamp, guys. Facebook like page, you guys name it. Also, check out Trey Hendricks if you haven't. At the very beginning, we try to feature some new stuff, you know, new music that we find from within our communities. Thank you guys for watching and stopping in. Check us out on everything, Twitter, everything. We're working on audio as well for you audio pleasure, you know, earphone fans out there that like your Bear Dynamics, your Audio Technica stuff, and your Sennheisers. So there we go. We're going to take you out.
I think that episode went pretty fucking good.